I ignored my date's 12 red flags, and now I'm paying for it. This is OKOP, the home of the craziest stories on earth. I'm Sam. And John, what is your red flag?
My red flag is that I do not believe in red flags.
Bro, that's a walking red flag right there. Does not exist.
I'm not holding anything. I read your sweater and I read nothing.
Yeah, he's colorblind.
I'm flag blind.
I thought I'd switch it up a bit from an Am I the A-hole post to a date from hell.
Oh, God.
This is a long story, but a lot happened on this date. So this is back in 2019, 6 months after I, 23 female, now 19 female then, got my heart broken for the very first time. Nothing like the first love heartbreak, you know? I never was fond of love. So when I actually experienced it, I was devastated when I lost it. It took a while to get back on my feet, but when I did, I was immediately reminded of why dating sucks.
Yeah.
When I hit the 6-month mark for my breakup, one of my friends suggested I go on Tinder/dating apps to get my mind off my ex. Rebounding, not the best solution, but led me to greater things. So I created a profile and immediately got matches. All right, OP, we get it. You're hot.
All right.
Back then, I was heavily into memes and bonded with one dude. Let's call him Dylan, 21 male, fake name. We would send our meme collection and make a lot of jokes. Laughing again felt nice. Not long after connecting, I agreed to go on a date with him.
Is Dylan's real name Riley?
Ooh, big protein.
The timeline is kind of matching up a little bit.
It is. Although I think Riley mainly mains like Hinge. I don't think he's much of a Tinder guy.
Hey.
Is that true, Riley?
Yeah, I'm not. I got scared of Tinder. That's an okay story time, right?
Oh, why Riley is
story
afraid
time.
of Tinder. Why Riley is afraid of Tinder is a great story title.
Best
I'm ready.
title. Wow.
Now, I want to clarify, this guy was super nice and a good person. The odds were just not in his favor on how successful the date was, considering all the signs pointed to it not working out. It started with him picking me up. It was raining super hard that day, so I waited at my apartment window to see when he arrived. He texted me he was there, but I didn't see any new cars pull up. I went outside on my balcony to get a lay of the land / parking lot, and I spotted a Jeep Cherokee that matched his description across the lot, 2 buildings down. I texted him explaining he was at the wrong building. He seemed confused on where to go, so I told him to stay put and I would walk over there. Unfortunately, my sister took the only umbrella we had in the apartment for work. My umbrella was in my car that my sister also took to work, so I was forced to freeball it in the rain. It wouldn't have been that bad if it weren't for Zeus bringing the full wrath down on us.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Red-ish flag for maybe him not like going up to the door or whatever.
Yeah, I would have been like, no, just we're going to work this out. Give me instructions. I'm pulling up your door so you don't have to run in the rain. For sure.
For sure. I would say tiny red flag. I walked over to his car, couldn't run due to kneecap issues. And by the time I got in, my makeup was heavily smeared. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. She probably spent time on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. What's so funny, Riley?
It's just like your comment was funny.
What? Why?
You're just a great podcast. I was what can I say?
I just forgot women take time to put makeup on.
What? How long do you take to get ready for a first date? I'm curious. What? Because like for me, it's just like put on a t-shirt.
Wow.
Shaver. I go through a routine.
Sam will not spend more than 5 minutes getting ready for his
that's
dates.
why his red flag of being a fuckboy is confirmed.
This may start like 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah, to get my head space right and like getting ready.
Riley's meditating. I will find my wife. I will find my wife. We did our greetings, and I apologize for the confusion, not sure why. Then, as he backed out, I started fixing my makeup. This is red flag number 1. As we drove, I started to look around the vehicle, some trash here and there, but not too bad. There was rust on the car floor with a small hole.
It's a little rough.
I was a little anxious about the fact that I could see the road underneath.
That's a little tough. I was like, yeah, confirmed. Confirmed. That's a little...
I'm not going to car shame anyone, for sure.
You're right.
That has to be some kind of safety hazard to see the floor.
Yeah, totally. But honestly, your comment is right. Maybe
and it's raining. There's probably like water coming through that hole.
Yeah.
At least get a cork or something to plug it up.
He doesn't deserve to be clowned on because like, hey, maybe he's like on the grind. This is the car I have. But if I were him, I would maybe, because also sometimes the girl is comfortable driving herself there. I would have been like, oh, you want to meet at this like midway point.
Yeah. Maybe she doesn't have a car though. It is a nice move of him coming to her house.
Yes.
You know?
You've met beforehand, but first time meeting strangers, I'm always about like meeting at the place. I always offer, but if they decline, I'm like green flag.
Yeah. Agreed. I used to be on the side of the road so much that I get anxiety anytime I'm in sketchy vehicles. Why are you on the side of the road all the time?
She doesn't have a car.
I guess waiting for buses? I don't know.
Maybe.
As I was observing this, a loud squeaking sound came from the dash. He laughed and said, "Sorry, she likes to squeal." Then proceeded to bang on the dash until the sound stopped.
That's
like, shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, both at the same time, because that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you like when all that's happening, I guess you just have to.
You just roll with the punches, baby.
Yeah, make some funny. This encounter made me anxious in his car and eventually from the date. Picking up the fact that he said she reminded me of an ex naming his vehicle. He would also refer to the car as him. Yeah, this is my baby Megan.
Oh, God.
I know that there is someone in this room that also has a female name for his car.
Oh.
Yep. I name all of my vehicles women because I would never be inside of a man.
You never know until you try, baby.
Is that a red flag for Riley? Put your answer to the comments. What's her name, Riley?
Fifi.
My smile dropped. Little did this guy know that 2 weeks prior, I just kicked out my ex-friend Megan for tons of drama. It was an ugly fallout from friends to roommates to strangers. Sign 3. I didn't tell Dylan this. Instead, I complimented the name and changed the subject. I mean, like, that's not a red flag.
No.
Because
it's not the same person.
it's not the same person. It's just the name, but it could be a message from the universe.
Yeah.
Could be.
This whole time, he was driving 2 towns over for our date, a 40-minute drive. This town is where I actually worked, but it's also where my ex lived. I asked him where we were going. He responded with a name of my favorite Chinese buffet since he knew I liked Chinese food, which I think is a green flag.
There you go.
There you go.
I was excited at first, but then I remembered. My ex and I went there almost every weekend when I would stay nights with him. So many memories came rushing back of us laughing in the booths and getting our grub on. I still kept up conversation, but deep down, I was questioning if I was actually ready to move on.
OP, that's not his fault,
But
right?
she's not saying it's his fault. She's just saying, oh, maybe I'm not ready to be dating right
sign
now.
number 4. Got you.
When we pulled up, he decided to park in the very back. So it was a walk to the front. I was a little disappointed since there were closer spots. Like I mentioned earlier, my kneecap issues. Nonetheless, I sucked it up and we made our way to the door. He saw I was stretching my back as we walked and thought it was a good time to do the same. The dude started twisting his arms / torso super fast, resulting in him accidentally clipping my head.
Oh, God.
He apologized immediately, asking if I was okay. I laughed it off and told him I was fine, even though I could feel a bump already forming.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
This is just not going well.
I think bro is just like, he's just one of those guys that just, it's not working.
It's just not working.
He's not
Yeah,
malicious.
it's not malicious. It's just, one of those days.
He's one of those days.
Everybody has those days. Everybody makes mistakes. As we entered the restaurant, he went up to the booth and yelled, "How much for 2?" I stood there embarrassed because everyone looked at us. I dislike being the center of attention, especially from a crowd. This will come into play later. The hostess stared at him in confusion, then proceeded to explain the menu. We then got escorted to our booth, which of course was the same booth my ex and I sat for our first date.
Oh, God.
Oh man. I feel like the cards are stacked against this guy.
Oh, we're already 7 deep. Like
60. Ooh, but
what?
yeah.
60.
But the real number.
Yeah. Here's the real number, guys.
For context, whenever I ask a question, John immediately ignores that question and said, but the real question is, true OKOP fans will know.
And then proceeded to do it like 10 more times after they pointed out I was doing that.
Once we got the drinks ordered, we made our way to the buffet area. I grabbed my plate and immediately made my way to my favorite dish, coconut shrimp, which is bomb. The way they made it here was a little bit different. It had more sauce than the shavings, and it was delicious. I started to pile it on my plate. I don't typically eat out often, so when I do, I make it worth it, knowing I'll pay for it in the gym later. Dylan walked over to me saying, "Wow, that's a lot of shrimp."
Oh,
me
buddy.
replying with a big smile, "Oh yeah, it's my favorite. Do you want some?" Him, "No thank you, I'm allergic to shellfish," which I feel like that's foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look at him confused and my mind was racing. Isn't coming to a Chinese buffet a bad decision then? Granted, he was being thoughtful, but doesn't sound very safe. I then proceeded, how bad was his allergy? He stated, "Very deadly."
Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
Which is a weird way to say like, oh yeah, like how bad's your allergy? Deadly. Not like, oh, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
No, deadly. It will kill me.
If it is.
Yeah, I guess good to know.
Yeah.
I look back at my plate, making note of everything in that restaurant that was considered shellfish. I knew if I wanted some action, I couldn't have shellfish on my lips.
Yeah.
I don't know how it fully works. Even if we didn't go there, I didn't want to accidentally touch him with shellfish residue. So I sadly scooped out the shrimp, put my plate in the dirty bin, and got a new one. I only got non-shellfish items on my new plate and missed out on my favorite shrimp. Sign number 7.
Oof.
Big yikes.
Oh,
Lots of signs. It's just not going well.
It's just, you know.
For no fault of either of them, it's just not, they're not jiving.
No, it's not going down. It's not working.
When we finally sat down to eat, conversation was going fine at first. I did notice that he had a habit of talking very loudly, where I kept my voice consistently mellow and low for the restaurant setting. As we talked, families of 5 or 6 were being seated around us, with kids ranging 5 to 13. I usually curse like a sailor, but with kids around, I tried to hold it back since I dislike public scenes. I let one slip and then apologized, stating the sailor comment. He said it was fine, and he curses a lot too sometimes. Then he started very loudly saying every curse word in the book. I look over at the families and they were all staring at us like bad tact, but the man's heart is in the right place. He's tried. He's like, oh, don't worry. Fuck shit.
he just doesn't get it. It's unfortunate.
I feel like he's just like a little socially awkward.
Yeah.
You know, the parents looked at us with annoyed looks. I put my head down, laughing it off, and got back to eating. Sign number 8.
Mm-hmm.
We finished our meal, got the ticket, then made our way to pay. As we were walking back to the front counter, he moaned, "My back."
My neck.
My
back.
And started to do the arm torso twist. I immediately stepped back. Unfortunately, a waitress was walking by with drinks and she had to duck out of the way to ensure he didn't smack the tray.
No.
Even with her daring escape, 2 drinks did spill.
Oh.
She glared at us as I walked behind him and mouthed sorry to her.
Yikes.
At this point, I decided dating probably wasn't the best choice for me. However, I was still considering doing the deed with him.
What?
As shallow as it sounds, I'm 6 foot. Dang, OP. Tall. And he was 6'3". Dang. This is rare for me to find taller guys. And I don't discriminate against short kings. But as a tall girl, sometimes it's nice not always being the tall one. Especially back then, I never had been with a tall guy. So we pay, I hop in his car, and I ask, what's next?
Ooh.
He told me he bought a scary movie for us to watch at his apartment since I like scary movies. Oh, and she's going to be
It's
like,
going
oh
down.
my God, I'm so scared. No. Typically, I wouldn't have went, but it fell in line with the end goal.
Thanks.
His apartment was about 10 minutes away. When we arrived, I was amazed how nice the apartment was. Like high quality designer apartment, 10 times nicer than mine. It had a warm, cozy vibe. There was so much decoration to look at. It even had a beaded curtain going into laundry room to create a door. Complete 180 from his car.
That's so weird. Why does he have a car with a hole in it and like a luxury apartment?
I know.
That's a little weird.
I would rather have a nice house than a nice car.
You're 100% right.
Like, I mean, I didn't have a car until like a year ago.
Yeah.
I told him I loved his apartment and he responded, thanks, my brother decorated it. Then proceeded to point out to where his brother's room was. Was all I could say. Then he escorted me to his room, which was straight ahead from the entry door. His room was nothing like the well-decorated apartment. It was a clutter with large furniture, shelf bed, full-size couch across from the room from the bed, big dresser with a TV on it. This made the room feel smaller and didn't help. It was a little messy with clothes and trash. This was a sign to me because of past experiences with my mother. She was a hoarder and we also had messy homes growing up, so cluttered spaces aren't ideal. We sit down on the couch, him to my left, and get the movie started. The movie was The Nun, which I had already seen but didn't say anything due to not expecting to watch it anyways. Nice, OP.
Wait. You guys don't watch scary movies, do you?
Not really, no.
Okay, me neither. If you do like scary movies, how do you aren't you scared something's gonna happen and you're like, whatever you're doing, you get scared and like people jerk when they get scared?
Oh,
and,
interesting. I've never considered that.
Well, I feel like screaming in the movies is similar to screaming in coitus.
Perfect camouflage.
Yeah.
Especially if you have roommates living with your
Exactly.
brother. Brother hearing that. Oh my God.
Auto parts.
Ow! Ow!
Puts his now shoeless feet on the bed across from us to lay back. When he does this, I notice his socks were the white and gray socks with a hole in each big toe.
There we go.
Hey, man's matching his car.
Yeah.
I dislike feet, but the main problem was the fact my ex-stepdad used to have socks like that all the time with the holes in them. My stepdad was very mean to my family, so seeing those socks just made me frown. I mean, again,
Poor guy. I
feel like he's getting like this reminded me of
guilty by association.
Yeah.
That's what's happening here.
But to be fair, like if I'm going on a date, I'm wearing socks without holes in them.
Yep.
yes. Yeah.
Gotta have one pair of socks without holes. Come on. I remind myself that he's cute and tall and refocused on the TV.
There we go.
He had his arm around me as I lean into the couch / him. I waited for him to make a move, but he never did. I actually have an okay story time about this.
Ooh, there we go.
We made it through the entire movie without a single move. I thought to myself, maybe he was just being respectful to not interrupt it. He asked if I wanted to watch another. I told him yes, thinking this one is the one stuff we'll... And? Nope.
Oh.
I pushed up my chest, giving him a view. Oh my God, where are we going, OP?
Yeehaw.
And even had my hand on his leg close to the goods. Still made it through the whole movie without anything happening. After the second movie, he asked if I wanted to watch another. I respond with a sure, thinking I'll just make the move. 15 minutes into the movie, I sparked up a conversation, then kissed him. The kiss was interesting. I had my mouth closed, only doing lips. This dude was kind of eating my lips with how wide his mouth was opening. As we pull back, I notice he is smiling ear to ear. I asked what? He then told me I've never done that before. At this point, all the puzzle pieces started falling into place. I was thinking of what to do next because I didn't want to be the guy's first time, especially since I knew I wasn't going to date him. Plus, risk of pregnancy went up. Yes, we were going to use protection, but I still didn't want to risk it. So as we made conversation, I texted my sister to call me that she locked herself out of the apartment and needed to come home. 10 minutes later, she called with her story of locking her keys in her car and the spare is locked in the apartment. Do girls do that?
Yeah.
That's like the classic thing, dude. You didn't know that?
I have a migraine right before the date.
And correct me if I'm listen. 90% women watching. Correct me if I'm wrong. At times you'll have like the on-call friend that's like, "Yo, if I need to get out,
Let me know."
here's the thing." Or they're just in general like they maybe if they don't set it up in advance, but they're like, "You're my person."
You know what? If that is the case, I like a good challenge.
What do you mean?
I like a good call.
Elaborate.
If every date that I've been on, there's been an on-call friend, they have never been called.
Oh yeah, you're saying like you like
You've
knowing
never
that
had a call on a date where it's like, oh, I gotta leave.
they never escaped.
I
Yeah,
don't think I've had one
They
either.
never escaped. Oh God, what am I?
Never escaped.
They never escaped a Riley date.
I had the phone turned up so he could hear. He then asked if we needed to go, and we did. What sucked is we had a 40-minute drive all the way back to my apartment. This is why you drive your own vehicles. I was already anxious in this car. However, what made the drive hell was the playlist he chose.
Oh no.
He was playing the Mary Poppins musical playlist from the musical that just came out. What he also didn't know about me is I dislike musicals.
Oh no.
The only one I can stand is Rock of Ages with Tom Cruise. So the whole way back, I just was sitting there as the guy was jamming to musical music. By the time we get to my apartment, I'm starting to get a headache from its high-pitched singing. He turned off the radio, looked at me, then immediately went to kiss me. Or should I say, eat my mouth.
Yeah.
I leaned back and asked him to stop doing the mouth motion he was doing. He did, and I told him that was better. I thanked him for the evening, got out, and waved him off. I talked to him a couple days after that, unsure of how to break it off. Then eventually told him I didn't think I was over my ex and wasn't ready for anything serious, which I think is true.
Totally fair. Yeah, she doesn't owe him anything. I don't think.
We
Yeah,
understood. Then we went separate ways. After going through that date, I concluded dating was overrated. I still kept the apps, however, for my hoe phase I had. I know people look down on that kind of stuff, but during that time, I was actually living. Going to parties, having adventures. It healed me in its own way. Then the next year after, I met my now boyfriend, and we have been together ever since.
Hey, there we go. Love that.
Also to clarify, I know some of the things I judged Dylan on were maybe harsh. The recent heartbreak didn't help. Unfortunately for Dylan, he just kept bringing back places I didn't want to be. I do hope he's doing okay. I also hope you guys enjoyed the story. Would love outside input / thoughts on this interesting dates.
Well, we have some interesting takes for you.
We do. So, I mean, like, I guess, what do you think of how she told Dylan? Like, I don't want to go on another date.
Perfectly acceptable. She doesn't owe him anything. She doesn't have to be his friend.
And she was also honest too. Like,
And she's honest.
I think it was obvious from a lot of the story that she wasn't completely over her ex.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, I think she handled it very well. Very well. Super solid.
I agree. And it's just like, it's not necessarily like, I don't think Dylan's a bad guy or anything.
Poor guy,
just,
man.
You know, it's just what he wasn't jiving.
He's just a little bit of a hapless klutz.
Yeah.
And he means I feel bad for him, man. He's out here trying.
Yeah. Trying his darndest.
Stretching his back.
Elbowing anyone who comes his way.
In his way. I mean, actually, if you think about it, if he's 6'3", think about his wingspan, his elbow span.
Dude, he's huge.
He's a helicopter, just like
And he's probably big. I mean, he's big. 6'3" is big. So
Exactly.
taller than all of us.
big boy,
we have
big
learned.
bones. Yeah.
But Riley, you have an okay story time?
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. I'm excited for this one.
Okay, so have I told you about the time I went on a Tinder date?
I don't
When?
think so.
This is back in Tennessee.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So I found this girl. I was like into redheads for a bit. Still am. I don't know. I love all women.
Redheads who love Riley, comment below. Continue.
Riley had his eye on this redhead at our party recently.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was taken. Anyways. But I found this Reddit online. I was like, oh, I texted my brother a screenshot. I was like, dude, I need to find her. Like, blah, 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 blah. And then I saw her on Tinder and I was like, dude, I found her. I swiped on her. She swiped back. I was like, just interested because she had red hair. I was going to take her to my local coffee shop and it was like an hour late. She like didn't show up 30 minutes and then she was like another, and it closed. And I know the people at the coffee shop and I was like, hey, can I get 2 coffees? And her name's Molly. I can say Molly. Molly was like, what do you want? And I was like, I'll take a cafe or an iced latte. And then I looked down, I saw what she wanted and she wanted a frappuccino. And I was like, no.
What?
Because they hate making frappuccinos and frappuccinos are not a coffee. I'm sorry. They're a milkshake.
Damn.
They're not a coffee. I'm a black coffee drinker. I don't know what that puts me out there, but
I think we need to spark a serious debate with everyone watching.
Is frappuccino a coffee?
I'll give it coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, if it has coffee in it, it's a coffee.
anyways, she asked for that. That was red flag number 1 in my head. She was like, you can come to my apartment. And I was like, all right.
Here we go.
So she goes to the local school I was at and I go to her apartment. I knock on the door, open it up. It's both of her roommates, not even her. It's both of her roommates there. And I'm like,
all right.
She's like, hey, blah, blah, blah is getting ready. She'll be ready soon. And so I sit awkwardly in the living room with both of her roommates trying to like make conversation.
You're so good at conversation, though.
And I did great. But I was like, it was like, was this before Bali? I don't know. Anyways, it was just like weird. And I went there, I sat down and I was talking to him and then she was ready and she looked nothing like her Tinder profile.
Did she have red hair?
She did have red hair. But like the way she did her red hair, I was like, oh my God, this isn't right. Like,
was it dyed? Do you think?
It was like, don't judge me. It just looked different from the pictures and it was like curly and like very fluffy and really red.
Like Hermione?
Like
Hermione.
In the book?
Like the chick from last night.
First episode. What?
Like the chick from last night or the night before.
Wait.
That kind of red. Like Loki maybe died.
Oh, well, yeah.
She was a redhead. I don't know. I don't even think she was. I don't know what's real and
What's real and what's fake? That's the question.
Riley's being hoodwinked.
Yeah.
wearing that and like it just didn't. She did not look at her profile.
Wait, so you're saying dyed hair is a red flag for you?
No, I do like red dyed hair, but I just don't know if it's real.
You didn't know if hers was real or not.
Did her hair? It was a red flag for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
A red hair, red flag.
Yeah. Then I go into her bedroom and she keeps the door open, which is fine. But she has like a bunny, like a small bunny. And you know what? Great for her. And she did have like anxiety that she was working through and like she was very like, so I was trying to like just play it cool.
Yeah.
Try to be very calm, be like, oh, that's really nice. And like her bunny was around. But the red flag wasn't the bunny.
Okay.
It was how many toys and how many places the bunny had to sleep. That was a red flag for me. She had like 3 places for the bunny to sleep and like a bunch of like different toys and stuff like that. And I was like to me, if you have a pet, you give it like 1 spot and like a few toys, you don't give it like spoil it. Because if you spoil it, I had an ex that like had a dog and they spoiled the dog and they treated the dog better than her.
Right.
And it was like messed
right.
up. So like that's my mindset.
So you
behind,
think
like,
the red flag is how much she loves this bunny, this anxious girl who's just looking for connection.
Sam's putting Riley in the hot seat today, ladies and gentlemen.
you know, like you can give the bunny things, but if you're just like
So
consistently
you were jealous
buying-
of the bunny.
You know,
you were like, the bunny is getting more attention than me. How many places do you have for Riley to sleep?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This happened at like, dang, I'm not even gonna how to talk about that. So this happened at like 2:00 on a Friday. And
PM?
Yes.
Okay.
And the only thing that was gonna save me from this was John, because we had a meeting at 4:00 and it was currently 3. And I just had to wait out an hour. And then we just talked about her bunny. She played soccer, all these different things. And then it was getting close to the time for the thing. And I knew I could have been like, hey, John, I got to push it back. I'm talking to this chick. He would have understood.
Yeah.
But
John's a real one.
John's a real one.
I got you, bro.
And I was like, sorry, I cannot miss it. Like, I have to go. And I was like, but we can like hang out later or whatever. Those were lies I was telling her. And then we got up, I left. And then I just talked to John through it. I don't even think he remembered, but like, I was just
To be honest, I don't.
yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, dude, you saved me from this. And then she hit me up like later that day, tried to hang out, but I was like, it was just awkward. I couldn't. And it was so weird. So I don't think I'll ever go on another Tinder date because that was just a whole.
It ruined the whole platform for Riley. And he'll never date a person who has a bunny ever again.
Yeah.
No, just don't spoil it like that. Like, I don't know.
You know what I'll give you? Because what you could have said, you could have like stretched the truth a little bit and been like, oh, the meeting's at 3. So she was an hour late too, right? That's like hour late. You waited for an hour, you drive over. I think you would have been totally okay with being like, all right, I'm going to fudge the numbers a little bit. I'm going to say the meeting's an hour earlier and be like, hey, I got this meeting came. You don't understand. I'm going to get fired, you know?
Yeah, I did. I was like, it's super important. We're doing this and that.
Yeah. But you didn't. But you stayed. You gave her the hour, which
I gave her the thing. And like sometimes whenever I meet person, all I need is like 10 seconds. And then I'm like, I'm going to go on the second date. And that's all I need. And the first 10 seconds I met her, I was like, yeah, this isn't going to happen. So
that's funny.
Yeah, that's my Tinder thing.
Why Riley will never Tinder again.
Yeah.
You got a story for us?
Yeah, I have a little story for you guys. It's more like I need kind of your advice.
Oh, I'm very excited now.
Okay, so at our party the other day, there was this girl that was a friend.
Yep.
I see where we're going.
And
can you give me one more non-descriptive descriptor to help unlock it for me?
Does she listen to the pod?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. No one listens. There's no way she's listening to every episode of the pod.
Maybe she listens to this one.
There's no way any of our direct friends listen to every episode of the pod besides Riley. Why do you think someone does?
She's called me and talked to me about it.
Who?
The person?
Plant girl.
Plant girl?
The one that like wrote me a letter.
Oh,
she
listens to the pod.
So I gotta like.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't think anyone we know.
She would know that from that.
Another descriptor. She was at the party.
Right.
Stay super
Help
late.
unlock it for me.
She was one of the last people that was staying there. She sat next to me on the couch.
I like one of her friends.
Yeah.
Yep. Done.
So like I'm just really not looking for. I think I've gone on like a couple date-ish things, and I'm just like very much not looking for a relationship right now, or looking to hook up with anyone. I'm looking to be.
What are you looking for, Sam?
Looking to be like just focus on my friends and my friendships and OKOP.
Fair
right?
enough.
Just like
Is he out of the F-boy territory, ladies and gentlemen?
Trending out.
I'm trying to trend out. And this girl that I see as a friend was like kind of like I was watching a movie and she was like tucking a thumb in my waistband. And what?
Whoa.
Like not like all the way in, but like feel it like
Get a little Sam Salon.
you know, and just being a little touchy. And like I was dancing with my sister and swing dancing, and then we danced, and I think she was looking for like
A little more action.
Possibly, right? And I think she's great. I'm not interested in that way. So my question to you guys and to the audience is what point do you say explicitly like, hey, I am not interested in anything but friendship with you? And do you even say that?
This is one for the ages. This is a big one. But okay, I do think I have some decent thoughts on it.
And knowing Riley, you kind of saw what was happening at the party. Maybe John didn't see it as much, but
No, I noticed nothing.
Okay,
I'm very unobservant. It is what it is. But I think that you, for now, I mean, thumb in the waistband, we're approaching that territory, but for now, keep dropping the hints of friendship. And if it ever, it's a gray line.
And I never like pushed it away, but I didn't like reciprocate.
Yes,
I was just kind of like staying like neutral, but like it was like she was like touching my leg and stuff, and like I was just like,
I think if it goes any further than that like I definitely think it's
super uncomfortable.
No, I wasn't uncomfortable.
Right.
Like I'm not.
It's more so just like communicating. You don't want to.
I'm to be clear, I'm not uncomfortable at all.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't. There's by not saying that I'm not interested. Like it's like, am I leading things on? Because like we've hung out one-on-one. Like we got ice cream together, but like I would get ice cream with Riley, and doesn't mean like I'm looking for him to like put his hand in my waistband.
Yeah. I mean, speak for yourself, bro.
Don't ever take me to ice cream.
Uh-oh. Riley, want to get some ice cream, buddy? But just keep dropping as heavy friend hints as you can.
Yeah.
Until it, like right now, she's entered the gray zone. And once she kind of crosses that threshold right out of the gray zone, like maybe like leans over or whatever, like maybe then saying something.
You could do what they do on Parks and Rec. Ron, whenever someone's getting too chummy with him, he'll call him like another name. You could be like, oh, thanks.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
We now know that her name is not either Sarah or Tom.
We're whittled.
Wow, way to use one of my exes.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, really? Sorry, you have so many. I don't know what not to say.
It's kind of hard. We don't got a lot of room over here. You know what I'm saying?
Guys.
We kid. Hey, you had Riley in the hot seat earlier. He's just returning fire. He's just returning fire.
Starting the fire.
But that's what I'm thinking for now.
So you're saying don't there's no need to say anything now
Yet.
but like next like party where she kind of
If it gets there,
It was also weird because we were like sitting with like other people on the couch too, so I didn't want to be like, there wasn't really a conversation.
Yeah. I think it is like, and maybe I'm being too light on it, but I feel like unless it like really really gets like boils up to a point, it's maybe not worth the, you know.
It's so hard being like friends with someone and letting them know that you're not interested in them and yet still having them around.
One of my friends had a girlfriend that was kind of like becoming too interested in him. And he was like, you know, I feel like she's a little bit too interested with me. I think it's probably time that I have a talk with her.
But they were
and
like,
had a talk and he had a talk with her. It was like, hey, like, just want to be clear, like we're friends.
so they weren't, a girlfriend isn't like a friend that was a girl, not.
Yeah. A friend that was a girl was like being a little bit too.
Right. When you said girlfriend, I thought they're in a relationship. They recognize each other's boyfriend and girlfriend. He's like, you're just too interested in me. A friend who was a girl.
Friend.
Yeah.
Always tricky. How should we approach this, ladies? How would you want?
Yeah. I would love to know from our audience, like what do you think is like the best way to approach it? Is it to have like a conversation with her, or is it to wait until, I don't know, a further moment?
Yeah. Such a bomb to drop. So tricky.
Yeah, because it makes it like, I don't want to like, you know.
You don't want to hurt the friendship.
I don't want to hurt the friendship.
And like hurt her feelings or anything. Yeah. Oh, that is tough. Help us out, ladies.
Yeah, let us know. Riley, did you notice anything at the...
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah. I was low-key getting some vibes like that. Did she have anything to...
drink?
Yeah.
Probably. A little bit.
Okay, because like I was talking to her and she was giving me those eyes.
She was giving you eyes, Riley?
Also, I don't know if you overheard this. someone threw up in the toilet, I think. I cleaned it up a little bit yesterday. Yeah, it was just a little thing on the bidet. Like I bet they closed it not even realizing that there was like a little splotch there. But I'm like, yes. And then Christian was like, oh yeah, like I heard someone yakking. Yeah.
Okay, I have more context on this because there was a lot of like things on the floor, like beads, some pants material.
Oh.
Who had the pants?
It was a female.
Yeah.
Was it Megan?
No way. She wasn't. No, she went home early.
She definitely went in there though.
There was another girl with glitter and like sequins in her hair too. Sequin pants and then sequin hair. Two different people.
No, because she left early.
One blonde
too.
girl, one dark haired
and
girl.
Alina had like little thing, like they were bigger.
Yeah.
The case of the missing thrower upper.
We're giving y'all. This is some OKOP personal tea today. My goodness, we're going deep.
You know what I
Steeping
want
it.
Yeah.
deep into?
This next story.
All right, let's do it.
My nephew got my daughter a terrible gift, so I kicked him out. My 40-year-old female daughter, 16-year-old female, has spent a lot of time in hospitals, has had tons of surgeries. A lot of these conditions also cause extreme pain and limit her ability to do a lot of the things she wanted to do. My nephew, 18-year-old male, is a bit of a prankster and has done some pretty bad things in the past.
Oh no.
I love a good prankster. in
Maybe
reason.
he takes it too far.
In reason. By the way, this comes from you, Far Experience 4284 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So her birthday was yesterday and we had family come over. Obviously masked, vaccinated, tests before coming over and after. And we were opening gifts. My nephew had gotten her a customized clock and it had a poem on it. Okay. Sweet so far.
Yeah.
The pictures were replacing the numbers on the clock and of her, oh my God, in the hospital beds.
What? So okay, so he's got a clock and on all of the numbers it's her in
the
hospital beds.
That is so wildly awful.
Why?
Like, is it making fun of her?
I have no idea.
Is it just like being cruel?
Keep reading.
I don't know how to get a hold of them, as it's mainly my sister, his mom, or my husband's family that had them. The poem was about happy memories and how he hopes she makes more of them in the future. Okay. My daughter started tearing up at it, and when I read it, I got pissed and told them to leave. My sister told me she wouldn't, as her son was just joking. What was he joking about?
Yeah, what was the joke?
I said that this goes beyond jokes and I wouldn't allow it in my house. She said I was overreacting and my son, 18-year-old male, had to step in and lead them out. Now, a lot of this family is mad at me, saying I overreacted and I'm taking things too seriously and need to lighten up a bit, and I'm starting to feel that they are right. Am I the a-hole? We are missing so much context.
I'm a little bit confused by what the card is, honestly. Like what the joke is.
Princess X. She said, is it like it's cancer time?
I don't know. Yeah, like I'm a little bit confused. I think I need more information.
We need a lot of more information. Yeah. Okay, OP responded to a comment. Yeah, hopefully they provide that. Okay, I'm just gonna jump on this comment so this doesn't get buried. I'm pretty sure OP is my aunt, and I'm the guy who is an a-hole. No way.
We're getting the other side.
Does this ever happen?
Yeah, we get it sometimes.
I've never
but it's
seen
my
this.
favorite thing. We're getting the other side.
I've never seen this. Can you read it again? I think I will.
You want just the description of the card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were opening gifts, and my nephew had gotten her a customized clock and had a poem on it. The pictures were replacing the numbers on the clock and of her in hospital beds. I don't know how he got a hold of them, as it's mainly my sister/his mom or my husband's family that had them. The poem was about happy memories and how he hopes she makes more of them in the future.
Allie says it's like he's saying life has been crap, hope it gets better, but it's awful. Okay, now read his. I want his
Yeah,
side.
we're gonna hear his side. But
Yeah.
why did he said it's a joke? If it was supposed to be sweet, why?
I know.
Is it a
Yeah.
joke?
What's the joke?
I'm pretty sure OP is my aunt, and I'm the guy who's an a-hole. But my aunt is leaving something out. She was leaving a lot out.
Yeah.
My cousin has always been sick, and yeah, she's been in and out of hospitals all her life.
He's like, I've only ever seen her in hospital beds. I didn't have any other pictures of her.
Yeah, maybe. Aunt can't really handle it. She keeps talking about how her daughter never had a life and never will until she gets well, though cousin won't ever be well. Her condition is chronic and painful, but it's not going to get much better than it is, and yeah, that sucks. But it feels like her mom can't accept that and keep focusing on her daughter getting better. Yeah, I mean, her daughter's sick, and as a mother, you would only want your daughter to get better.
I don't know if this guy's helping himself.
Yeah, I think you're digging a bigger hole. But I think that cousin's life can't wait for that because that'll never happen. But if anyone tries to talk about that to Aunt, she flips out and starts screaming that her daughter will be fine and be able to do everything. I just stopped talking about it completely around her. It's also not your place. Like, the mom is in her own process.
Yeah,
Like
she's
taking
dealing
care
with
of a
something really hard.
sick daughter.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that as a parent. It's not really your place to like tell her like get over
This
it.
is how you should feel
or
about
get
it.
on or
Yeah.
have this perspective.
Yeah.
But cousin's been really down about it lately with the pandemic and lockdown, and all she's been able to do even less and never see any of her friends or anything, and she and I have been talking about it. She said she had no life and never had been happy and never would because she'd never be fine. I try to cheer her up and remind her that though a lot of it did suck, there were good times too, and times she laughed, like when I taught her to do card tricks, or that time when we raced up and down the hospital corridor and she kept winning because she was in a wheelchair and a lot faster. We ended up laughing about a lot of stuff, and she shared some of the times she was happy. After that, she said she felt a lot better about everything. That gave me the idea for the gift, something to remind her that even when she was in hospital and everything sucked, there were good times too. And though she'll be spending a lot of her life in hospital beds, there will always been good times and laughter along with the bad stuff. So I got some pictures off my mom and some other family trying to get pictures of those times she told me about when she was happy. The clock wasn't me being fake deep. Cousin once told me that when the pain was really bad and the doctors wouldn't give her pain meds because it wasn't good for her to get them, she'd stare at the clock on the wall and follow it with her eyes as it ticked the seconds, just keeping her mind on getting through from one second to the next. This is heavy. This is a lot.
I am starting to think maybe he's just got a different relationship with his cousin.
Yeah, it seemed like a sweet.
Yeah, it seems good. It seems like maybe the aunt just doesn't understand the relationship they have.
For sure. And maybe like jumped to
conclusions.
which makes sense. I mean,
She's protective.
yeah. You're allowed to be triggered quite easily, or you're allowed to be sensitive when you're going through this. But it wouldn't make it easier for her, but that way she could get through it. So I wanted to give her something else she could look at and remember that even if things were really, really bad right now, there'd be times where it wasn't as bad. So that seems like it's something genuine and actually something really sweet. It's something like he tried to do nice for.
I think so.
His
Okay,
cousin.
he's coming back.
He's coming
back around.
And okay, the poem was really cringe, but I thought it would make her laugh because it was so bad. It was fun. What's this poem?
He said it was something about time and enjoying your life and blah blah blah.
Okay. Sophia Cologne, OMG, that clock thing is so real. I only felt it once when I got sepsis, so I can imagine what his cousin goes through so often. Yeah, to just be confined in a hospital bed for your whole life.
Yeah.
Just can't imagine how awful that is. But when she opened it, she just burst into tears, and my aunt started yelling at me, and then her and mom started arguing. So yeah, it seems like
she burst into tears because she was, not necessarily negative tears, but it was like
it seems
overwhelmed
like she was
with
touched
emotion.
by it.
Yeah, touched.
So I just sat there like an idiot because I felt horrible. I know I could be a jerk at times and thoughtless, but I honestly didn't think she'd be upset. I texted cousin later and apologized for making her cry. She wrote back apologizing for crying, saying she did like it, but when she saw it, she just felt overwhelmed. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the mother rushed in. She was being overprotective and was like,
But yeah,
she's crying.
coming from like a, makes sense.
It seems like this was all misunderstanding.
Yeah. She also asked if I had a copy of the poem because she wanted to hang it on her wall.
Aw.
But her mom had it taken and the clock and wouldn't give them to her.
Okay, that's messed up.
If she's
Yeah.
touched by it and enjoys it.
You don't get to decide what she is, what
Which-
she can and can't have
Yeah.
in her life.
And if you don't want us to decide your decision, join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Just tap it.
There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. Yeah, it seemed like the cousin was coming from a sweet, generous place. It seemed like the OP's daughter was touched by it.
Yes,
and was thought
felt
it was
emotion.
sweet, but was overwhelmed in general. And then the mom was being protective and rushed in to protect her daughter, which makes sense on everyone's part.
Yeah, so I think this is just like hopefully they can all have a conversation and be like, hey, a lot of overreactions. Let's calm down.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I could believe her. Cousin will always make sure everyone around her is okay when she's the one hurting the most. Seeing all the verdicts here about Aunt not being an a-hole makes me think I just effed up a lot and should apologize to Cousin, though I just meant to remind her that there were good times too. He did apologize
Yeah,
to
you already
Cousin.
apologized, and she said there was nothing
it
to
fine.
apologize for.
Yeah, I know I can be a jerk at times and an a-hole, and I guess I really messed this up. Adding, this is an account I made just for this. Everything is enough of a mess without the whole internet knowing who I really am. So
I think there was this, I think everyone's just kind of going through a really hard situation with someone who is sick, very sick, and they're all kind of walking on eggshells. And I think sometimes people interact with very sick people differently. You have some people who are overprotective and
especially if you're related, if it's your daughter.
Exactly. Trying to be helpful, trying to be, caring and stuff. And then you have some people who are trying to, make light of the situation, not in a bad way, just like
Trying to bring levity
and
a situation
humor.
that's ongoingly heavy and
yeah
dark.
And so sometimes those clash, and I think that's what's happening. I don't know if there's necessarily, I think the mom, Harriet Spaghetti says mom's not actually listening to her daughter though. I think there's a lot of miscommunication going on.
And I think she's triggered
Yeah.
and is trying to protect her daughter, and I don't think it's selfish. I think she's just like not in a state to like actually see it from a different lens, but
I think she should. I do agree though that sometimes when you're coming from a place of protectiveness, you can go too far.
Yeah.
And it seems like the daughter is at a place where she's able to know her own mind and know her own wants. And I think the mom just needs to listen a little bit harder.
Sure, there's room to approach this differently.
Yeah.
But also, life is freaking messy.
Yeah.
Especially when there's like ongoing sickness and hardship.
It's so
and
hard.
There's no manual. And so I think everyone in the story is trying their best.
Yeah.
And no one's going to do it perfect.
I agree. Eliana Bain says, I don't think the mom is terrible. This has to be incredibly difficult for everyone, including mom. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And then Glitternot says mom needs therapy or support group with other parents with children with
For
chronic
sure,
problems.
yeah.
I completely agree. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, everyone in the story loves that girl and they're just trying to help.
Yeah.
My brother uninvited me to his wedding because I'm gay. The whole thing is so weird. I, 27 male, am gay. I came out at 16 and my parents told me they would always love me, but to not mention it to my older brother who I'll call Brick. Then 19 male, 30 now.
They're like, yeah, we love you, but just don't tell Brick.
That would be kind of wild as a parent to be like, one of my children who I raised is actively homophobic.
And another is gay.
By the way, this comes from Miserable Wait 2784 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, when I was confused and asked why, they said that Brick had expressed some awful opinions about gay people.
My. Stop your hate. Stop your beliefs.
I limited talking to Brick until I moved out at 18, which wasn't much of a problem because we were never close. I went to uni, got a good job, and an awesome boyfriend, 28 male, in my home city. Me and my boyfriend Angel live a peaceful life. Peaceful until a few days ago.
Jan Digital says, okay, you could be gay, but just not in front of Brick.
When I got a call from my brother.
Oh.
I was concerned that Brick was calling me, as we have never messaged before, just had each other's numbers for emergency purposes. I picked up because maybe there was some emergency happening. He opened the call with an annoyed, "Hey man," and I knew something was up.
Oh no, not Brick.
He said he was getting married to his fiancée Yen, 24 female, next year. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend.
Oh wow.
I was like, that's great, Brick. And asked some boring wedding things that he begrudgingly answered. He then told me invites were being sent out in a couple weeks and that I could bring a +1. Here's where I made the mistake that started this mess. Without thinking like an idiot, I said, cool, I'll bring my boyfriend. Major mess up.
How is that a mess up?
You were literally just...
How is that a mess up?
No, we don't want to know people who are homophobic. So if he's not going to allow you to come, then we don't want to talk to him. Brick immediately started yelling insults down the line, screaming that he wouldn't have an F slur at his wedding.
Whoa. He's not even passively hateful. He's
No,
actively hateful.
Actively. I didn't say anything and just hung up. I was rattled by hearing those words from my own brother's mouth, even though I knew his feelings about people like me.
Whew.
Literally, as a parent, if my child came to me and was spewing this hatred, I would be like, don't ever say that in front of me.
Yeah, this is
Like,
so
I would be like, don't, like, I want to know if these parents ever said, like, hey, don't do this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to stop that early.
Yeah.
If left to just, and that's not, I don't think that's shaming because
Yeah.
that just pushes in the shadow and it's just going to grow. But like
Disgusting.
addressing it,
Yeah.
not letting that grow into adulthood when it can
Yeah.
get dangerous.
I told Angel, and he comforted me, ordering in my favorite restaurant and watching movies with me, which was awesome. We went to bed later, and I felt all right the next day. I sent my parents a message that Brick invited me and uninvited me from his wedding party pretty much in the same breath and went on my way to work. Not a clue of the crap storm waiting for me when I got off. When I turned my phone on again after my shift, it was blowing up. Messages and calls from my parents and relatives galore asking me what the F happened. I phoned my parents back when I got home and gave them the rundown of what happened and said I honestly didn't care because it's not like Brick would be coming to my wedding anyways. My parents immediately chastised me for my obvious disinterest and disregard of my brother's life. Your parents suck too. And told me I should be apologizing to him for bringing my personal life into his wedding. And now we understand why Brick is this way, because his parents never said anything. His parents allowed him to speak this thing.
It seems like the parents are a little homophobic if they're like,
Absolutely. You're bringing your personal life.
personal life into your brother's wedding. I think that's just like,
this is very much like, oh, you can have your own beliefs, but don't impose them on us.
yeah, don't be gay around us.
Don't be gay. Yeah. You guys
Wow.
suck. What?
Yeah, Elena says, where TF did this dude pick it up from if not at home?
Yeah, absolutely.
At
it
first I
from
was
home.
like, I don't think we could jump to that, but that just shows that.
No, it shows. I mean, he was 19 at the time. Obviously, you can get it from outside sources. But if the parents had heard that, like, knew enough that he was saying that to tell OP, like,
and
oh,
also
don't bring it up.
told a kid to hide their sexuality from
their
sibling.
brother. You should not, like, you should be, I don't know, going off on Brick, not you're telling your other son to hide his sexuality.
And then getting mad at them for just
For telling them
mentioning their
that they
significant
have a
other.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
I basically told my parents to screw off and
Good.
have been getting bombarded with messages from relatives to apologize to my brother and get my invite reinstated. And apologize to my parents for disrespecting them. But I really don't want to. Don't. Angel's reassuring me that I did nothing wrong. You haven't.
You have not.
But it's still nagging me. Am I the a-hole? There is an update. No.
No.
You are literally living your life. You are loving someone. And you said, oh yeah, I'll bring my boyfriend. That is the only thing that you've done. And you were uninvited and you were, you had a bunch of homophobic people attack you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need them in your life, which is so sad because these are your family and obviously you want a relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're going to mistreat you, then they don't deserve to have your relationship with you.
The equivalent of this in like a heterosexual relationship is like your brother invites you to their wedding and you go, great, I'll bring my, if it's a man, I'll bring my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then parents like, how dare you bring your personal life?
Yeah. It's
Like,
what?
with that, it would be like, what are you talking about?
So weird. You told me I have a +1.
Yeah.
Jan Digital says, is Brick having a Hawaiian themed summer wedding?
That's hilarious.
Elena says, black hole. Into the black hole, into the void. Update. Y'all have really opened my eyes on a lot of issues in my family. I apologize for only replying to a few comments. There's just so many of you. Big shout out to all the people who gave compliments to Angel. I showed him the post last night and he thanks you all.
Oh.
I've been showing him lots of love because he really is an angel. And to the people calling this fake, AI, cliche, and whatnot, I hate to break it to you all, but this is just my life. It sounds cliche because this is the sort of all too real thing that happens to many people in the community. Just move along if you want to say the stuff because you're honestly just wasting your time. One of two things I would also like to address is people questioning me about thinking I could possibly be the a-hole in this situation. And all I can say is that when you have a mass of people telling you you're wrong for what you did, it's hard to not believe them just a little bit, no matter how absurd it is. Second thing, for people wondering how no one in the family knew I was gay, I really was never/am not close with my extended family as they all live in different provinces. And my immediate family never traveled. We really just send each other holiday and birthday messages and have brief conversations whenever they're sent. And I just never had the urge to come out to them. And also, you don't owe anyone coming out.
Yeah.
That is your own personal decision.
Mm-hmm.
And no one should ever be making you feel bad for not coming out to someone. Anyways, on to the update. I decided I didn't want to let this sit for any longer. I took a day off work and I added my parents, Brick, and all the family that messaged, called me into one big group chat per one advice I saw. I laid out everything that went down to them in case they were told a different story by my parents and brother. I told them that I was going no contact with my parents and Brick no matter what. If they didn't apologize and realize what they did wrong, I would cut them off too. I turned my phone off and continued on without it for the rest of the day. Once I turned my phone on again, I had lots of messages from them. My parents were outraged, and Brick said nothing. Some of my extended family apologized and told me that my parents just told them I was mean to Brick about some of his wedding plan choices, which got me uninvited. Yeah, they freaking lied.
His wedding plans were just like, this is a homophobic wedding.
Yeah.
And and OP's infringing on that.
Yeah, they're like, how dare you?
Yeah. How dare
Still trying to wrap my head around how stupid that is. Seriously think my parents might be Neanderthals. Anyways, the real story made others even more angry and more insistent that I apologize, and they were promptly blocked. This is a good litmus test for who to block.
Yeah.
I didn't answer any of my parents' texts/calls and blocked. By the way, you shouldn't block us. You should join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile. And there is a little bit left. But yeah, I think that if people are going to be horrible to you and homophobic, they don't deserve to be in your life.
And I'm glad that OP set the record straight.
Yes,
once and
me
for
too.
all. It was just like, no, it was just because he was homophobic.
Set it straight and then move on. I feel like I have a weight off my shoulders. I'm not concerned about my parents showing up at our apartment as they moved away from my city last year. Me and Angel are planning a lovely trip, per advice of a lot of people that we thought were great, to France to visit his family during when the wedding will be taking place. That's great.
Wait, whose?
Angels, the partners, which I'm very excited for. I've heard nothing but good things about them. This will most likely be my only update on this post, and I thank you all for your support. And that is the end of that story. I mean, like, yeah, sad, very sad, but at least there's some positive and some, you have support from your partner's side.
Yeah. Shout out Angel. I'm glad
Shout
OP
out
has
Angel.
support. And I'm glad they're, putting down a strong boundary as they
Yes,
should. with
as
their
you should.
Family, who's just blatantly homophobic.
Blatantly awful.
I discovered my wife's 4-year affair, so I publicly humiliated her.
Dang.
I don't even know where to begin. My wife, Leah, 43 female, and I have been married for 10 years. We have 2 beautiful children, our 5-year-old son and our 2-year-old daughter. I thought we were happy, or at least I thought we were trying. But 4 weeks ago, my entire life came crashing down. By the way, this comes from Horror Squash 4757 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. 46 male. Started to notice when she was glued to her phone more than usual. Leah's always been private, but this was different. She'd smile at her screen, then immediately lock it. When I walked into the room,
Smile at the screen.
Suspicious.
I was texting my best friend Isabella the other day, and Riley was like, "Who are you?" And I was smiling.
Who got you
And
smiling
he was like, "Who
that?
are you texting?" And I was like, "Isabella."
One night after she fell asleep, I couldn't resist. I checked her phone.
Dude, resist.
What I found still makes me sick to my stomach. There were messages with a coworker, Eric, 48 male, going back years, explicit texts, photos, promises of love, even references to secret trips they'd taken while I was at home with the kids, believing she was working late. My heart was racing, my hands trembling. Knees weak, arms
Mom's
sweaty.
Spaghetti.
I confronted her the next morning. At first, she denied it, said I was misunderstanding. My heart was racing, my hands trembling. I confronted her the next morning. At first, she denied it, said I was misunderstanding. But when I read her the messages out loud, her face crumbled. She admitted it. She said it started 4 years ago, long before our youngest was born.
Is
which
that
means,
kid your kid?
Is it your kid?
Is that kid your kid?
She tried to justify it. You were distant. We were struggling.
No.
But nothing could excuse this. So I started to dig deeper. I followed her to work one day.
Okay, OP. What is this?
This is after the confrontation, needing to see it for myself. Sure enough, after her shift,
I don't like
she
this
walked
already.
out arm in arm with Eric.
Erase
They're
it.
not even trying to hide it.
I hate this so much.
They got into the car
Ew.
and drove off.
Please stop.
I followed them to the restaurant.
Do
where
trivia.
They sat like a happy couple laughing and holding hands. It broke me. But what shattered me completely was I learned they'd built their own life together. They'd been renting an apartment near work. I saw them go inside,
Oh, man.
watching them from my car parking on the street. A few blocks away, I checked on them for 4 nights and they had the same routine.
Dude, what are you doing? Why are you, like, it seems like OP's trying to, like, uncover something, but she already admitted.
She already admitted it, dude. That's when I snapped. I packed all of her belongings, everything she owned, into the back of my car and drove to her workplace the next morning after spying on them. I know I did wrong. When she walked out, I dumped everything right there on the sidewalk in front of her and her coworkers. I told her she was not coming home. Since then, I filed for divorce, let's go, and am fighting for the full custody of the kids. She's begging me to forgive her, saying she doesn't want to lose the family we built. Friends and family keep asking me if I regret how I handled it, publicly humiliating her, kicking her out without notice. I do. She tore our family apart, and the least she could do is face some accountability. Can't help but feel like the bad guy for how I acted. I had nights where I felt very lonely, and I miss her. Of course, I am also attending therapy sessions to be better for the kids and for myself. All I care about are them. They don't deserve this chaos. And as much as it hurts, I know they are better off with me than someone who could live a lie for so long. So, am I the a-hole?
In what,
There is an update.
world? In what world are you the a-hole?
If we're kicking her out.
No, she cheated on you for 4 years.
Lulu said technically he can't kick her out because they
Dang.
own the house together.
That's true.
That is true.
But you can divorce her, so do that.
You should divorce her. If you threw all her stuff out, you're not the a-hole. Like, I understand
Yeah.
why you did it, but you might get in legal trouble.
Like legal trouble, perhaps. But yeah, she sucks.
Yeah, she sucks. Yeah, what is the deal with that? So let's say
Yeah.
your partner's like continually cheating on
For
you.
4 years.
And you're like, I'm divorcing you, and then throw out all your stuff, all their stuff, like onto the.
If it got damaged, she could probably fight.
She could probably sue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Protect yourself, OP. Don't do that.
Yeah.
What I will say is she did something so terribly wrong.
Mhm.
I would say don't throw all of her stuff out. One, because I don't think it's the right thing to do generally, but also I don't think it's the right thing to do for your own peace of mind because you could face legal ramifications.
Yeah. Mhm.
What I would do is I would say you need to move out
Now.
immediately, like
Yeah.
now, and you have this much time.
Yeah, I think that
Um,
works better just in the
I think
legal
that works
scheme.
better. We got an update.
Let's do it.
Turns out my wife's affair was worse than I thought.
No.
You thought-
worse
See,
than
that was-
4 years
that
of
was great.
secrecy?
Well, that was, I see you. Thanks to everyone who commented on my original post. I wanted to share an update about where things stand now. For those asking how I didn't notice her affair for 4 years, it's because Leah was always incredibly private. She was adamant about boundaries and would shut me down if I asked too many questions. She handled the rent, utilities, and her own expenses, while I covered groceries, the kids' school costs, internet, water, and anything extra. She claimed it was fair since we both worked, and I didn't push because I trusted her and I didn't want to create unnecessary conflict. Looking back, I can see how I missed the signs. But at the time, I didn't think questioning her was necessary. After finding out about the affair, I had DNA tests done for both kids. My son is biologically mine, but my daughter isn't.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh man.
That was a tough hill to swallow.
Yeah. Of like also just not being. I mean, he wanted to file for full custody and he can't
Now he
for one of
can't.
his kids.
Yeah. But it doesn't change anything for me. I've been her father in every way that matters, and I love her like my own. I believe the person who raises a child is their real parent, and no court is going to convince me otherwise. Right now, I'm in the middle of the legal process. The divorce itself hasn't been finalized yet, but I've made it clear that I'm fighting for full custody of both kids. I've explained to the court why I believe Leah isn't fit to have primary custody, which probably not. I mean, she's too busy
Yeah.
getting busy with
In her private apartment.
in
or
her
whatever.
private apartment with her public affair
Yeah.
in the workplace. Her betrayal wasn't just a personal one. It shows a complete disregard for the stability and well-being of her family. The court process is slow, and so far we've only had preliminary hearings. I provided evidence of her infidelity and the double life she led, and I've asked for a full psychological evaluation for both of us to ensure the best decision is made for the kids. I'm also planning on showing the court that I've been the primary caregiver emotionally and financially. My lawyer has told me it's a tough battle, especially since courts often lean towards joint custody. I'm not backing down. By the way, you should never back down from joining us live on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. And we're probably live right now.
We
So tap our
are
profile.
live right now.
What do we think? What do you think OP should do?
Oh, this is so I mean, I think OP is doing the right course of actions, trying to get that full custody for his kid, but just so tricky because he can't get access to both of his kids.
Yeah.
You know, like she
I mean,
might.
these legal proceedings, the biological father has a right to his child,
Yeah.
you know? So,
And I mean, right now he has no right to the daughter.
well, unless the other guy is like, I don't want.
Gives up parental
Yeah,
rights.
gives up
but even then,
parental
it would probably go with the mother.
There's another relevant update to those who said my story sounded fake. I get it. This is the kind of nightmare you think only happens in movies or to someone else. I wouldn't believe it either if I wasn't living it. All I can say is I hope you never go through something like this. It destroys everything you thought you knew about your life. For now, I'm staying focused on my kids and doing everything I can to give them a stable, loving home. They're the only good thing to come out of all of this, and I won't let them down. Thank you for your support. It means more than you know. And that is where that story ends.
Groom told the bride he's not sure if he wants to be married right after the wedding.
That's bad timing.
You do that before the wedding.
It's bad timing.
Was just maid of honor in a wedding that ended in an absolute crap show and have to tell someone about it because I don't even know what to do or if I should do anything about it. I'm at a total loss. This was a first for me. By the way, this comes from you Pink Bubbles 45 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So my childhood friend was getting married today to her high school sweetheart. The wedding was a long time coming. They've been together for 6.5 years and share a 2-year-old son together. They've been engaged for 3 years now because they delayed planning the wedding after she unexpectedly got pregnant with their son. Yeah. So now the wedding was finally here. Earlier this year, she set a date and started planning. I was engaged myself this year and got married in July. Originally, it was just supposed to be a regular bridesmaid. The bride's sister was supposed to be the maid of honor, but they had a falling out.
Ooh.
That's like right before the wedding. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
A lot of drama going into this wedding.
Basically, the bride would always call her sister ranting about her fiance every time they would fight, which caused the sister to form a pretty negative opinion of him. Sister lives across several states away and doesn't see everything that goes on her. Her mind jumped right to abuse, and she told the bride if she marries him, she's not coming to the wedding.
Wait, sorry. Who is saying this? Who's not coming?
The
maid.
the sister
The
of
sister.
the bride.
Okay.
Sister lives across several states away and doesn't see everything that goes on here. Her mind jumped right to abuse, and she told the bride if she marries him, she's not coming to the wedding. She told her own sister. Now, here's the thing. Their relationship isn't perfect. They are young. They went through a lot very quickly and very young, getting engaged, unexpected pregnancy, moving in together, all happened very fast. Fought a lot. I had my concerns at first, but after spending a lot more time with them, I saw how much they genuinely loved each other, parented their son together well, and were working towards a future together. Bride and I have been close friends for so much of our lives. She's like family to me. I care for her deeply. When she asked me to step in as maid of honor, I said yes for those reasons. Cut to today, the wedding day. Everything was going well. Groom was getting emotional when they did their private vows. Before walking down the aisle, he was still wiping tears. It warmed my heart. Looking back now, I wonder what the heck was going through his head. Not sure they were tears of joy. Some foreshadowing. What do you think's going on? As the night went on, the bride mingled and danced with her family. She had so much family that traveled from many states away to be here, and she wanted to be a good hostess to them. The groom was usually off talking with his own family when she was doing this, but for the most part, they stayed together. They sat together, ate together, danced to a few songs, played the shoe game. What's the shoe game? Then they were mingling separately with their families. Didn't think that was a big deal, as this is often how receptions go, with so many people there pulling you in opposite directions. At one point, they both went inside the venue. Reception was outside for a while, and then she came out alone. She continued to chat with family, and then after a little bit, realized he was nowhere to be found.
But they've already gotten married. They got married and they had the reception.
Yeah.
And this is during the end, like towards the end of the reception.
Yeah. He was nowhere to be found, and after a while of searching, we found him wandering around outside, going for a walk.
He's running, and
He's
they're like, "Where are you guys?" He's like, "I'm going for a walk."
Bride was pretty distraught at this point. I will add that the groom did have a good amount to drink during the party. Apparently, when they went inside the venue, he was angry at her for not spending enough time with him during the party and said they were hardly together the whole night. Once he got back from his little walk, they were just arguing inside their room, I guess. This is not off to a good start. At this point, a lot of guests were leaving, and the ones left Me, my husband, the rest of the wedding party, and their immediate families didn't really know what to do. Yeah, it was just awkward. It was just like arguing at the reception.
Like, okay, all right, this is fun, guys.
Oh, should we go? Party over? Or? We were supposed to do a big send off for them, so we were just kind of waiting for that.
That's so embarrassing. It's like, okay.
They were like, we have bubbles. Should we
They're holding
blow
the
them?
sparklers.
Yeah,
They're
like
okay. I'll just take this. Thanks, guys.
We were supposed to do a big send off for them, so we were just kind of waiting for that. We packed up all the stuff, broke down all the tables and chairs, loaded it in cars, and just waited. Me and the other bridesmaids pulled her aside to talk to her, but she was pretty deflated at this point. This is so sad.
That's devastating.
Apparently, the groom had taken his ring off and told her he wasn't sure he wanted to be married to her at their wedding.
Ouch. Ouchie.
It's not like I'm having doubts. Like, can we talk about this?
No,
It
this
seems
is
like,
taking the ring off at the wedding?
and also be like getting upset, like in the moment of like, you didn't talk to me enough. I don't know if I want to be married.
Like, I'm sorry, this is a conversation that you have either before the day of the wedding or you like take a minute.
Yeah, if you're
Take
you're
a
angry
minute.
about
Yeah,
how the way
take
the
a minute.
wedding went, it's not like we're like, actually, screw this, I'm out.
It was terrible. This wedding wasn't fun.
Mind you, they've been living together for 3 years. They share a child. Yeah, this isn't like
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, no, this wasn't, it wasn't like this was a quick relationship that went to marriage. This was a long relationship.
a long relationship.
And
they
a
have
long
a kid,
engagement.
They live together
Because they were engaged for
years.
3 years. Yeah.
Share a child. They've been dating since 2018. Nothing about this was rushed,
No.
other than maybe their ages. They are quite young, but I never thought of them as immature until the stunt he pulled at their wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like at the point you have a child, like
Come on.
it's kind of like
You
that's,
can't be
like,
just
past
Thinking, being impulsive like this.
Yeah, over not spending enough time together at the reception. I don't know if that's the
I don't think
correct
that's the reason.
story. Like that would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like your view of like that was one thing that was mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
but I would be
I
shocked to
doubt that's
think
the
that
real
was
reason.
like the reason. Like, sorry, why not just leave her side then? I just don't understand at all. We finally decided to just load their stuff in their car and tell them it's all loaded and they should probably go ahead and go to get some sleep before their flight tomorrow. At the car, we hugged goodbye and I left to come home. This girl is one of my absolute best friends. I hate that her beautiful wedding was ruined by her husband being petty and stubborn. She was in tears and distraught on her own wedding day. It's just awful. I don't really know where to go from here, if this is at all normal and something they will get past, or if this is more serious. I genuinely am rooting for them, but this whole situation just has me sitting in my car feeling confused and worried for my friend. They're leaving for their honeymoon tomorrow. Don't feel like it's an appropriate time to reach out and try to talk about this with her. She's like getting on the plane for a honeymoon. You're like, you good?
Yeah, you okay? Okay, bud.
Any advice here is appreciated, I guess. I'm thinking I check in via text a few times while they're traveling on their honeymoon and make sure it's going okay. Make plans to see her when she gets back and we could debrief everything then if she wants to get into it. Starting to think the sisters might have been onto something.
Maybe. I honestly think as the friend, I don't think you can necessarily tell her what to do, but I think that you can be there for her. I think you can, say like, hey, so sorry that happens. I just want to let you know that I'm here for you and I love you. And, there are a lot of people who love you and support you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you can't fix it. There's just letting them know that they're not alone, that they have support.
Yeah.
But update. It's been a week now, and a lot of people asked for an update. Some people on my original post, very adamant this relationship was abusive. It's Reddit, that's what they will say. Citing red flags, research, evidence. What?
Where are you getting this research?
And personal anecdotes that the story reminded you of. People have too much time. There was also several comments saying I was overreacting, the groom was just wasted, and they would probably be fine. That's honestly where my mind goes.
I don't think it was an overreaction per se.
I'm not
I
saying,
think there's a
not
chance
saying
that
overreaction.
that he
My
was
mind goes
drinking.
to just like, this is going to smooth itself out.
Sure. I think it's a big thing though. It's like
It's pretty bad.
someone who you thought you were about to spend the rest of your life with said, I don't want to get married to you at the wedding in front of people.
Embarrassed you in front of
That's a
everyone.
big thing.
You were distraught at what should have been like one of the happiest days.
Yeah. And hasn't come back and said like, hey, sorry.
Well, we don't know. what happened.
Yeah,
after.
yet at least.
I wanted to clarify some things from my original post. While my friend, the bride, does have her sister, she was the only child growing up in her house. In many ways, she truly is an only child. She is at least the only child of her mother. She already had a small circle. Her family lives all over the country and is not involved very much in her life. That was not the groom's doing. He did not isolate her. Secondly, I would like to clarify their ages because I didn't mention them in my last post. They started dating at 15
Wow.
for her and 16 for him. I got married at 21 and 22.
So yeah, this is pretty young.
I mean, it's young, but it's not unheard of.
No.
21 and
But like, I
22.
think that sometimes, especially when you're in a relationship when you're 15, 16, and you continue that, and then you get married, there is I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I missed out on something.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, my first relationship, I was 13, 14, and we dated for 6 years until 21.
Wow.
And so when I was like in it and was like, are we gonna marry? Like, is this gonna, be ongoing?
Yeah.
It was for sure like doubts of like, oh, like I've never been with anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, is this, am I happy here, or am I just happy because I haven't experienced anything else? And so, yeah, I think that people, marrying their first love, there's, it's kind of hard not to have doubts there, I think.
Absolutely.
So part of the reason I omitted it originally is because I didn't want people jumping to conclusions about the relationship because of their ages. There's a lot of stigma around getting married young, especially on Reddit. And I get it. The odds are stacked against you. That's why I decided to put their ages in now, because I realized it's important to understand they really do have so much growing and learning to still do. Now on to the update. It's pretty short. She Snapchatted me later that night. They really are young.
Yeah. Still using Snapchat.
After they got to their hotel, and said as he began to sober up, he was realizing all that he'd ruined and was very apologetic. Dude, imagine sobering up to that mess.
You'd be like,
Oh,
oh
shit.
man.
I messed up.
It's like the end of the Hangover though. But he did all that stuff happened at the wedding then, in this scenario.
Yeah. He realized that they didn't get to do their last dance, their send off, their bouquet, and garter toss. She said he was crying. They talked it all out, and she said it sucks that their wedding ended that way, but it was amazing up to that point. And the important thing is that they're married and going to spend the rest of their lives together. She said they're going to work past it, and I asked how.
She's like, we're gonna work past it. We're gonna get through this. And Opie's like,
you sure?
say more.
Keep going.
Do we have a step-by-step plan?
Do you have like a business plan around it? Do you have a plan? Just wanted to be sure. She said they will work on their communication skills, and I once again recommended therapy. That's like the cop out of like,
we're gonna communicate more.
we're
Don't
gonna
worry.
communicate better.
Yeah.
She said they talk about it and consider it. Then they were off on their honeymoon and seemed to be having a great time. I checked in a bit when she has Snapchatted me some pics, and they're doing well.
Snapchat, man.
She knows she can always come to me, and she knows I'll support her no matter what. Right now, I'm going to do everything I can to help uplift them as a couple and help them form some better communication habits. It also seems like OP is taking on a little too much responsibility. This is not
for their relationship.
your relationship. I understand it's your good friend, but they're working on their own development as individuals and couple, and their communication skills has nothing to do with you.
That's why I think it's like at a certain point, you have to kind of gauge how much input you can give into a friend's relationship. Because I had this recently where I was talking to a friend about their relationship, and they were telling me things, and I was like, okay, well, I can't tell them to like, not that they should, but like I was like, I can't tell them to break up, but also I can't say like nothing. And so it's finding that middle ground of advice.
Yeah. My place is always consent.
Yeah.
I'm very firm on like consensual advice, and it just like it feels just kind of liberating. I'm like never have to wonder if I could give advice or not.
No,
I'm
you
just
just
like,
say, hey,
are
do you
you
mind if
open?
I give advice?
Are you open to advice?
I did this recently. I said, do you want advice on this?
I do it all the time, and it's
Yeah.
like, do you want a different person? I'm thinking something completely different. Can I share that? And then people aren't going to be upset at you if you ask consent. It's actually super kind. But to just assume of like, oh, I'm going to actually go to therapy on my end so that I could give them communication skills.
Yeah.
Not that she said that, I'm joking. But it's just like, it's not really your responsibility. Okay, her sister didn't support her choice to stay with him, and that's why sister is not in her life anymore. I feel so confused by that.
Yeah, it's a thing where people think that they have more say in a person's relationship than they do.
It just feels quite righteous.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I will support her choice, period. And by the way, if you support us, period, you could join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. No, we're going to go into the update. A few takeaways. Be careful drinking on your wedding day. Yeah.
That's
dude,
the moral of this story.
honestly, you're going to get hammered
That's
on
the
your
moral.
wedding day. It's just not a good decision. So you don't need that much. The last thing, also, you just want to remember your wedding day. Why do you need to be drunk at all?
I don't know.
I mean, there's
As
a lot of
person who
things.
doesn't drink, so
Yeah,
I
that's also same
Yeah.
coming from that context.
Yeah.
But I get it. You know, there's a lot of people get overwhelmed. You might want some alcohol to loosen you. You don't need that much. The last thing you want to do is get wasted on your wedding day and say/do something stupid as a result that you can't take back. One commenter put it really well. You may be able to overlook your partner's ugly parts now, but are you willing to let this be your life if they never change? I know there's a lot of people on the subreddit that are getting married, so I hope someone can learn something from this story. So are you and Sophia dating? We are not dating. She literally just said, I'm not dating any man on the show.
You guys are bullying me on purpose now.
My boyfriend tried to test me with my dog. I'm choosing the dog over him.
Bark.
Set your priorities straight. My dog is a little crap. I, female 35, love the booger. But my goodness, last week she got out of the backyard while I was busy cooking my boyfriend's dinner for his birthday. My boyfriend Mike, M40, let the dog out during this time and didn't stay out with the digging a-hole. When I went back to call her in, she was nowhere to be found. I live in an active city on an active road, and I naturally was worried about her. But my boyfriend said she should be fine, as we are well known in the neighborhood for our clockwork walks, and someone will see her and bring her back. I would be getting out of your chair. If your dog is not around in an active city,
Bark. Freaking bark.
I went out to look for her anyway, but couldn't find her. By the way, this comes from As Gay as the Day Monday on the r/BRUO updates on the subreddit. We rock with the gays. I didn't find her for 48 hours and was crying from the stress. She's been my dog for 7 years, and I know it sounds odd to some, but she was my girl, my bestie. I loved the crap out of her. I would sob worrying she was injured or worse on the side of the road.
That's not good.
Not
I don't
good
like
at
that.
all.
I don't like that.
Boyfriend said he tried to track the microchip, but for some reason it wouldn't work, and her lease had a tag on it with her location, but boyfriend didn't put it on her because as he explained, she's just going outside. I have a new neighbor, a female 30-something, Josie, and turned out she had my dog. She found her tagless wandering around her yard 3 doors down from me and didn't know her or me at all, so took her to the local vet who recognized my girl and called me. So my little crap was returned to me. I was overjoyed and was thanking Josie profusely, explaining how worried I was, and my boyfriend audibly sighed from behind me and said, well, thank F, that's over. She ruined my birthday with that stunt. When Josie saw him, she looked confused but didn't say anything until we walked her out. She told me, you may not believe me, but he told me last night that you don't have pets. I was confused by this and kind of didn't believe her, but it nagged at me, so I checked our doorbell cam footage, and there it was, clear as day. While I was looking out for my dog, Josie is showing him a photo and asking if he knew this dog, and he said no, that we don't have dogs, and suggested calling animal control. I woke my boyfriend up as he was asleep by this point on the couch and questioned him about this, and he denied it, saying Josie is trying to stir up trouble. I have my dog, so things go back to normal now. And he slipped up in that he deserves a makeup day for his ruined birthday. When I told him about the footage, I could see him get really still, and then he admitted to it. He said my dog is old. She's 8. So he was trying to spare me since she'd probably die soon, and he wants us to think about the future, not the past. My dog is indicative of my past. I told him he has made 0 sense to me. He saw me dang near fall apart, worried about my dog, and now I can't so much as trust he didn't have anything more to do with her disappearing.
OP's like 35, right?
Yeah, 33.
So her
I think.
partner's around the same age, probably.
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna die soon, so we might as well just put you out of your misery.
I think he's 38.
Oh yeah,
She's
even more
35.
reason.
He's 40.
All right, let's put you out of your misery because you're the same age as the dog. Let's put you out of your misery right now. Let's do it. Let's put a chip in you and forget to put your collar on and get you lost and put you out of your misery.
He lost it at that, saying he just knew I would find a way to blame him for this and shouted, "You love that bee more than you love me." I told him that he's the bee and a coward for lying and not being honest about clearly not liking my dog for the past year.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
And what I'm seeing here for the past year,
Yes.
she's had the dog for 8, and she's been with Mike for a year.
You ain't got that tenure, bro.
Dude, we already know.
We already know what's going to happen.
We already know, man. Then I asked him to leave. He stared at me like, "You're really going to kick me out over a dog?" I said, "Absolutely."
Yes. Freak yeah.
To the streets.
To the freaking streets.
And he cussed me out and went to his place. I haven't read the text he's been sending me, but it's been a lot of them. He's been gone for 7 hours, and I have 27 text notifications from him. He's talked to my brother, Blair, who called me to tell me that I hurt Mike for caring more about an animal than him and not being able to just shut the F up, be an adult, and celebrate my birthday. Okay, Blair,
Whose side are you on?
whoever gets the news first is going to believe it first.
The narrative has been painted.
Yep, the narrative has been painted. I am confused because we've been together a bit over a year, and I spoiled the crap out of him. We met because of my dog.
Just throw this guy in a sewer. Just freaking euthanize him and throw him in a sewer. Give him to the gators.
And he seemed to really adore her this entire time.
Psychopath.
My brother, though, doesn't like me these days, so I can't really tell if he's right and I'm the a-hole, or he and Mike are just an a-holes. So am I the a-hole? Got some relevant comments here. Hope you're not the a-hole.
No.
Come on.
Dude, this guy, I hate him.
Snake dog.
The fact that it's almost more sinister that he like pretended to like the dog so much and like manipulated OP into believing that he was
Yeah.
like, oh, he loves the dog. He loves the dog so much.
I bet you they met at like a dog park.
And he literally hates dogs.
He read at some like article and was like, "How to meet girls, go to dog parks." Relevant comments. Montreal Cowboy X, not the a-hole. I'm not even a dog person, but he knew you were upset and heartbroken, and he decided for you that it was better for him. That's just a-hole behavior. She's Oddly Mary says, "I'm a little confused. You said he liked her, and what do you mean when you say he was good to you before? Is this a sudden change?" Sorry, it was just that he was sweet, really sweet, and then when we met, he first went to her and pet her and complimented her how cute she was and how well trained. His brother is a vet, and he said he loves dogs. He used to run me baths, hype me up, come to events for me, and now he is like this. So something's happened.
And he said his brother was a vet?
Yeah, dude, who knows if that's real or not?
Oh,
Because he's a
maybe
psychopath, dude.
He'll say and do anything to make himself seem like, oh my gosh, it's like the greatest guy ever. And then
But we have an update, ladies and gentlemen. Here we freaking
is he still
go.
alive? That's a problem for me. That's a big problem for me.
Ron's over this.
I don't
man.
like it.
He's like, you
I
hate
don't like
dogs.
it, dude.
I hate
Don't
you.
mess with the dogs, dude.
Don't mess with the dogs.
Don't mess with my dog.
2 days later, after my post, my boyfriend showed up at my door the next day with flowers and dog treats.
Yeah, you can eat them. Enjoy. Sam ate dog food, by the way.
I didn't let him in, but talked through my screen door. He said he had time to think and was ashamed of his behavior and very sorry. He explained that he had abandonment issues and got scared when a friend put the idea in his head that I love my dog more than him. The friend turns out to be my brother, Blair.
What is up with this terrible brother?
I told him I wasn't ready to deal with him yet, and he asked, "Why not?" And I explained from my perspective everything sort of like my last post, and then added that he shows up without letting me know he was coming, and he didn't even let me speak. It just launched into this grand apology. Fair. When I said I don't trust him right now, he started crying, and I mean ugly, hysterical kind. He said this stemmed from his mother leaving the family. Why are we getting this kind of lore right now? He said it stemmed from his mother leaving the family. From what I know of the story, she walked out on him and his family when he was 13.
That's awesome.
And that I am his person and he loves me and just lost his mind a little. It's one mistake. One. I'm sorry. He kept saying it over and over, and maybe I'm a broken person, but I don't feel anything in the moment. I watched him crying and saying sorry and basically groveling, and I just wasn't having any of it. I said we need to talk, but I wasn't ready to have that talk at the moment and needed space. He begged me to let him in and only left when some neighbors come by to ask if everything was okay. and he just snapped and told them to F off and left. Red flag. Not sure what I'm even doing anymore or what I will do with him or my brother. For now, I'm just sitting at a local restaurant patio with my doggo, sipping margaritas and trying not to cry. WTF. Relevant comments. She chaotic good 6599 says, so I'm going to be a little mean and harsh here, and I apologize in advance for that, but I saw your first post before this update. Just ain't crap right now. Not sure what I'm even doing anymore or what I will do with him or my brother. What you do with him? You leave him. This man lied to you about your neighbor, and for that much, how sure are you that he doesn't harm your dog? He seems unstable and has resentment about her clearly. Yeah, how can you have resentment towards a dog?
I feel like this is emblematic of a serious mental issue.
Oh, yeah. This man is manipulating you. If he has trauma, he can get therapy, but that doesn't excuse trying to get rid of your beloved pet and make the day about his stupid GD birthday. He doesn't treat you with respect and thinks flowers will fix it, if not guilting you by his sob story of his mom leaving you. I added that part. God, I am so made for you and your dog right now. I can barely stand it. And please, for the love of all things holy, do not give her those treats.
Oh.
Oh!
Whoa.
I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that at all.
I would
That's
not.
a great call, commenter.
Oh,
That's a clutch
my
comment right there. That's a
gosh.
real one.
I would not trust that he didn't put something harmful in them to further endanger your girl. This guy sounds crazy enough to do it. They probably smell like chocolate too, or grapes. So here's where I will be harsher. Baby girl, woman up and dump his butt.
I like that. I like that.
I have a sweet partner that I adore, but if he did this, I would kick him several curbs and I would put him on blast about it so everyone we know is aware that he is an animal abuser who gaslights and disrespects women.
Facts. That part. It is so insane to let an innocent animal get lost to pass away.
Oh, yeah.
No one in their right mind would ever intentionally, and it's intentional because he lost a dog and then they called him like we found him. He's like, we don't have a dog.
Yep.
It is clear he didn't want the dog.
I've never
to come
seen
back.
that thing in my life.
That is insane.
Dude, golly.
You got problems, buddy.
OP, sorry, this was a little upsetting. Honestly, not as harsh as I expected, LOL. If this is your harsh, I think you're likely a sweet person.
Oh.
I wanted to address at least some of your comment, but full disclosure, some really bothered me, and I can't quite take that on yet, but I'm starting to agree with the folks in the comments that my boyfriend is actually my ex. So here goes nothing, maximum effort. So she's coming to the realization it's time.
It's time. It's time. Dump him.
Redditor, God only knows what would have happened if your vet didn't recognize your dog to steer Josie back to talk to you again, or if you were not home and your hopefully soon-to-be ex told her again that you don't have animals. She's responding to that. I think a lot about this. Josie is a kind human, and I don't know that she's a lifelong dog lover and adopter. She just lost both of her Labradors very suddenly, and my booger also loves her a lot and gets all excited every time she walks by my house, which turns out is a lot as she walks to clear her head when her job gets too stressful. In my mind, I have rolled every scenario of where my dog was and what happened to her the whole time I couldn't find her. My brain even went into dark directions and I was a wreck, and my boyfriend was just so dismissive of my concerns.
Yup.
Didn't even try to console her.
Yup. Doesn't care.
What the heck?
Doesn't
dude?
care. He just likes manipulating you, playing with your emotions, and
Getting rid of your dog
getting rid of your dog.
on his birthday. Getting rid of your dog on his birthday.
If I was able to spend my birthday with Chip and Ava, I would be so thrilled.
So thrilled.
You don't even understand how happy I would be. I would literally be like, what more do I need?
It doesn't make any sense because even if you wanted to get rid of the dog, your partner's dog, you want to do it on your birthday because you want your birthday to be good. Like, and she's going to be obviously upset that the dog's gone.
But he's that like evil and manipulative that he's like, this is my birthday present to myself. Yeah, that's how evil he is. That's why I say dump him in a sewer where the alligators are.
There we go. Crocodiles. Crocodiles are worse than alligators.
Crocodiles, bro. Give me whatever dinosaur will rip him to shreds and let me throw him in that and watch with his mom who abandoned him
Ugh.
like he deserved. It's awesome.
Evil. I mean, she could have been run over by a car, could have eaten something that could have made her horribly sick, anything. Playing it back now, remembering all he said and did during this time, I just don't like this guy, and I have a hard time ever trusting him again. I'm getting to the revengeful part of my brain and can't even start. Tequila is a heck of a thing, and I think it's contributing to me wanting to do things I would never dream to most of the time.
Do it. Do it. Listen to the tequila.
Leave him like his mother.
Drink the tequila. Leave him like his mother. Ay, 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 ay.
I sit there with my baby, my sweet girl, who looks at me with such unfiltered love and devotion. I can't even imagine trusting her with a man who cared so little about her that he would toss her to fate. And for the love of God, of holy things, don't give her those treats, I toss them out like the dumpster out. I sadly had the same concern. I forgot to mention in my post, but he tried to call my dog over and open the door to give her the treats. So the box was open when I opened the first door to speak to him. I have no way of knowing for sure if he wants to see her harmed, so I don't know what's in that box. So I tossed it. We have an update 3 weeks later. How we feeling? Do we press charges? We don't have anything to press charges on.
I just want him to suffer as much as possible, you know?
I saw something online where this woman was going to the airport and asked her boyfriend verbally, can you take care of my dogs while I'm gone so I can go to the airport? Boyfriend didn't show up. She went to civil court and sued him. She had to buy a new plane ticket, had to do something with her Airbnb and sue him for all that.
This too, because that's negligence.
Yeah.
If he forgot or whatever.
Yeah.
This is premeditated.
It is premeditated because 1, the treats, 2, he put her out in the streets, lied about it, and 3, I think he didn't even put the collar on it and lied about the tracker, even if there was a tracker.
Yeah. I'd be curious to at least research to see if there is something we could do.
I agree.
We just got to make him suffer. That's the goal.
What do you think, Angie?
I think that Reddit is gonna spark up my trust issues again. Because,
Oh no, Angie, no!
Because what? The fact that he was just such a good person. How long were they together? Do we know?
Just a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We've only been
okay.
together for 8 months. It's okay. We're not that point.
He's we still got a few good months before it all goes
Before each
down.
children crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, okay. I guess it'd be worse if they were together for longer. But still, it's she thought he was such a good person, and then all of a sudden he's doing this crazy stuff. That would be really interesting to see if you could press charges or something like that.
Piggy the Slayer says, in most U.S. states, animal abuse is considered as a crime and is treated as a felony or misdemeanor.
But we don't have strict evidence though. I don't see any super
The evidence
contract.
is he answered the phone and said, I don't have a dog.
Yeah, you have the video.
Yeah, but a lawyer could spin it and be like, well, he doesn't have a dog.
We've got witnesses. We maybe have it, probably don't. We maybe have a tape recording of that call, but Josie, the vet, can corroborate that story. I say we go for it.
Say we go for it.
I say we go for it. Actually, you should drop it because just get him out of your life.
Just get him out of your life.
In
Yeah.
actuality. But I do want to see him suffer, but it's not worth it. That's my real advice.
Update. Hi. It's your messy friend with her super wiener eggs. Not super wiener in the fun sense. Not in the fun sense. I don't much want to get into that, but it kind of needed to vent to someone. And most of you, have been really helpful, insightful, and so kind. Mike has been weaving the narrative that I am mentally ill. Bro is so projecting right now. He knows I suffer from depression and PTSD, and for whatever reason, he's saying I am/was a misdiagnosed schizophrenic. He's just throwing that into her face. It was relentless. And Blair and Dad have been backing him.
Dude, whose side are you on? Fuck! God, you're my own family! Jesus Christ!
It got to the point that I had enough and hired a lawyer.
What did I say?
Dude, we were about to get some money.
Did I say?
How much money you want out of this, John?
Dude, I just want him to suffer. I don't even want any money. I don't even care.
So his bank account.
Oh, actually, I would sue him for all of his money
Okay.
and donate it to
Yeah. If his brother's actually a vet, would donate it to one of the charities he likes.
that would be awesome.
Cease and desist and one restraining order. My father is such a psycho. Long story. Pin it. Later, and Mike is back on my doorstep. He's now demanding that Booger is his dog too, and he has rights to her, and he is worried about her safety with such a mentally unstable person, me it seems. So I said, oh, did I mention this is all through the door cam? That I now have footage, again, of him being the unstable one, and his weird manipulative threat on top of me having actual footage of him saying he doesn't have a pet would debunk him. I guess so. This is phenomenal. I don't know all of what happened because feed cut out, but it looks like the man lost his effing mind and dismantled my Ring camera. You can definitely sue for that. At least without my other cameras, he did not know where, then installed showing him doing so. Good thing I have a lawyer. So she put up other cameras and got other angles of it.
Ooh.
Dude, that would make a fire TikTok video.
That's awesome. I love that.
You want some of your money back? Post it on TikTok.
Create a multi-part series.
Do a get it ready with me so you can pass 10,000 followers so you can start monetizing your content and then post the video of it.
Do one of these. Yeah, Angie, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched my girlfriend's TikTok feed. They're all, hey girlies, I got my new nail kit. I'm putting like charms on my nails that are hanging off of them. Like,
Yeah. I was thinking of ASMR. You just like ASMR story time, start whispering the story.
Oh, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Another one? No. They just get things and they're just like, they click their nails on all
That's
the things.
ASMR.
That they,
Yeah.
But like they're like, it's like unboxing and they're just like each thing they open, they like click and then they go and.
Yes. You had nails at some point. Did you have the feeling to click them on everything? Because I sure did whenever I did my nails.
You know, I hadn't seen enough of that content on Nima's feed yet at that point.
You were doing a lot of this when you had your nails.
Oh, I did a lot of this. Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. Miss my nails.
All right, relevant comments. Ambassador, Messi, please save the despairing comments for the vulnerable dog you named Booger. I mean, no disrespect. I expect you to continue to use your self-deprecating humor. Good thing I have a lawyer. That you say nothing about the lawyer, just that this is an asset. Tells me that you are nowhere close to mentally unstable. Facts. I assume you told your attorney precisely why he's an ex. Flawless May sounds like things are still messy and stressful, but it's good that you are taking steps to protect yourself with the lawyer and additional cameras. Hang in there and keep us updated. We got an update 1.5 weeks later.
Let's go. See what we got.
This is 7 weeks after original post. Oh my gosh. This is going to be long, and I am so effing livid.
Oh.
Has it been 2 weeks? But this, a single effing day after my last post, I was packing up for an impromptu trip. Arara was taking me on parlay to help me relax and partly to get me the heck out of that dang house so my father, brother, and ex would not know where I was. As such, I got Booger to the groomers. We planned to be away a while, and she was due anyway. I thought I was being a responsible dog mom. I am an idiot because I was so frazzled about everything else, I completely forgot to tell them that Mike is not permitted anymore to pick her up.
Oh.
No.
That's very bad. That's very, 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 very bad.
So I got to run errands while Booger got her spa treatments. Don't you dare judge me. She deserves a spa treatment every once in a while. Being a couch potato is so stressful, grueling work, you know. And when I return, I am told by the front desk that your husband picked her up.
Oh, God.
What the heck? Oh, my gosh. I'm seeing no's everywhere.
Yeah, this is bad.
Dude, I'm stressing for you right now.
Same.
I swear to you, my voice simply stopped existing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just crumbled to the ground and sobbed. He knew the groomer, knew the staff. He would sometimes pick her up for me when we were together, and I didn't protect my baby by preempting this. How could I have been so effing stupid? His life mission is getting rid of her. It should have been one of the first things I did. I removed him everywhere else.
How did he know that she was at the groomers?
He's stalking her. He's a psychopath.
Dude, you're right.
He's got Blair on the case. He's got the father on the case. He's on the case. He's got 3 people on this, dude.
You're right.
He's trying to get rid of this dog. What did Booger do? What did Booger do to you?
Nothing. She's just being a good girl. Good doggy. Give her pets, not death.
The staff had come around the desk to help me to a chair, and I just wailed. I think I managed to say enough. The police were called, and I could barely speak to them. They asked if there was someone I could call, any family. I cried even more.
Definitely don't call my dad and brother. Don't call them because they ain't going to help.
I would call them in so they can be like prosecuted and interrogated. Be like, hey.
Yeah, put them in a lineup.
Yeah. Maybe get Blair because Blair and Mike seem to be friends, and then be like, ransom Blair. Be like, hey.
Yeah, it's like set it like a sting, like a trap.
Yep. I have no one. If anything, my father and maybe brother would help Mike do this. I managed to think and call Aria, and she was on her way, but it was then I looked at my phone. He had texted me. The effer actually texted me, starting with, hi, baby, as if everything that happened in this time was absolutely non-existent. He said not to worry, he has Booger, as he picked her up for you, and he is cooking us dinner at his, and I can pick her up after dinner. Then he ended it with, love you. It was so uneffing believable, I could only just show the cops. Holy cow. He's going to get rid of you and the dog. He's going to try to get rid of both of you. I have a horrible thought, and I can't say it.
I think I know what your thought is because I had the same thought.
I don't know what the thought is. You want to share?
What is he cooking for dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We have been here since 12 today, and John and I
We are
ending the day dark.
8.5 hours deep. And here I thought, I was like, oh, a dog story. Finally.
So nice.
Finally something to give me reprieve. But no, this sweet, precious angel is in danger again.
No.
This feels like a horror story. I'm so scared right now.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
What's gonna-
Yes.
Like,
This
truly.
is. This guy's crazy. I knew the second his name was Mike. I'm sorry. I have a bad relationships with a lot of Mikes. I don't trust Mikes. Do you know a good Mike?
My brother-in-law, his name's Mike.
They're always Michael.
I mean, I'm not a Jonathan, and everyone assumes I'm a Jonathan. I'm just John, so
There
I
you
guess.
go.
One of them asked if they could look through my chat history, and I said yes, and unlocked all the features, and she did. I had forgotten about all the abusive, manipulative, and awful things that moron texted me because a cop just pulled a colleague aside and showed him the screen a few times. I saw him look back at me a couple of times, and he left the building. Then he returned and asked me if I had called the police about Mike before. I said yes. He went through all the times I called, and I confirmed and told him some of it verbally then. So I guess she's talked to the police about this before. Aria arrived, and she gave her own rendition of the situation and stuck it to them that we did everything we were supposed to do by calling them about this, and we were told they would not help. If Booger is hurt, she will raise an unholy inferno over their useless department. She started to take charge in the absence of my ability to and ask what they plan to do. They needed paperwork. Booger's papers are all in my name, and the groomer is attached to the vet who provided the adoption and intake of paperwork of Booger, which I proved I was hers and the sole legal owner of her. Oh, I didn't know you had to have papers for pets.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Yeah, you have to like register them or something.
Makes sense.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember like getting some sort of thing in the mail, and it was like, you need to update your registration on your dog. And I was like, but I guess it's a thing.
The police went to his home to get Booger, and what I understand what to happen because I was not there and was only told by the official story. Mike let him in, showed the dinner he made. He seemed confused and didn't understand why the police were involved. He made it out that we had a bad spat, but we're working it out, but I'm mentally unstable and heavily medicated, and I told him of the groomer's appointment and asked to pick up my dog. They were asked where Booger was, and he said he didn't have her anymore, as my family picked her up so that he and I could have a private, intimate night together and make up and work on our relationship. By the way, you can come and be intimate with us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
Hey, I didn't say that.
You can be intimate with Keon, Dakota, and Sam every weekday at 3 p.m.
there you
PST.
go.
Just
Super intimate with those guys.
Dude, this just got worse. He gave her to Blair and the dad.
And we're almost at the end of the story. I'm freaking terrible.
Because the boyfriend has measures of he wants OP to be back, so he's not going to harm the dog, giving it.
I don't know, dude. He's so crazy. I don't even know if we can trust that. What? I'm clutching my cocoa and hiding in my blanket like it's a horror movie.
Dude, this is horrifying. It looks like we have like a chunk more. We have an update more. Here we go. I was home waiting. and I had to deal with another cop coming by and asking me about my mental health and if I'm in danger to myself or anyone because Mike said that he is concerned that I am unpredictable and abusive. Once again, I showed him the text and the footage of it being the polar opposite, and once again, I explained to all of what I was showing him and more I've already turned over to the police. By now, I had reached my lawyer who advised I answer any and all questions pertaining to the specific situation, getting my dog back and nothing more, so I shut up and simply provided info necessary to this. Okay, they found Booger at Bear's place, but now Blair had his own story that I was mentally unstable and unable to care for her, so I asked him to take Booger to a shelter as I didn't have the heart to do it so myself. No. He couldn't provide any proof, so they took Booger with them and brought her home. Oh!
We're safe. That was close.
So
That
freaking
was way
close. Dude, no. He said he was going to take her to a shelter. No.
But at least even if that had happened, Opie probably would have gotten to the shelter not too long after that, and it probably still would have been okay, but
Still, dude, that was so freaking close. Oh, yeah. No, you can click whenever. It's all good. It looks like Duchess Cassandra said it's turning into okay true crime for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least this isn't a cursed episode. We can read these kind of true crimes.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Booger came home for me immediately, straining against the leash to get to me, and I cried on my front step, apologizing to her as if she understood what had just happened. Oh, she was happy and excited. I bet she loved being in a cop cruiser.
My heart. She was like, yes, I'm doggy. I'm doggy in big car with lighty spinny.
She just was happy to be alive per usual.
She has literally no idea what happened.
She was
like,
when in reality, she almost became a meal, almost got put down at the shelter, but she's just happy to be alive.
bro. Oh my God.
To be a dog.
Right.
The policewoman who handed me her leash gave us information on where to get the paperwork about today's event, and she cannot offer me legal advice, but to be sure to lock everything up tonight and to call if anything happens. I did take Booger to the vet, and the tests that have come back show that she is perfectly fine. I am now packed up the majority of my house, and what is not in storage has been moved to Aria's. I'm working on preparing to sell it. I can't even imagine going back to that dang place. Mike left me a voicemail laminating that I sicked the police on him and all he ever tried to do was love me. How patient he has been with my mental illness and my obsession with my mutt. But he is now seeing that my father was right. I don't deserve him. I will never find anyone like him who will love me because I don't deserve love. And when I realize what I've lost, all due to my self-centered attitude, I better hope he hasn't moved on. But he's there if I ever decide to grow up and be a real woman and try to fix this with him. But he's not going to wait around forever.
I'm not going to wait forever to throw you in a river of piranhas. So just get ready for that.
He's coming fast, dude.
Listen, I'm not waiting very long. Like maybe 0.1 milliseconds. That's how long I'm waiting.
Boom.
Just to see the look of pure terror in your eyes. That's the only amount of time I'm waiting, personally.
Dude, I hope your mom comes back into your life and pushes you into a tub of piranhas
that
with
would
John.
be so awesome. That would just
You gain trust in her again.
my heart with so much joy. Oh my God.
If you ever wonder what these guys do off stream, it's this.
It's a whole lot of this. Awesome.
We love this.
Yeah.
An emergency protective order was pushed through thanks to my lawyer. For Mike and Blair, Blair was stupid enough to blow up my phone after the police took Booger to berate me. I don't know what he said. I just forwarded everything to my lawyer, but either apparently was enough. My father lost it, I'm told, but I wouldn't know. He doesn't know where I am and has no way to reach out to me. Mike is trying to Uno reverse my domestic abuse complaints and say I'm the one abusing him and that's why he fled to his place. He maintains that I asked him to take Booger and Blair is backing him. My lawyer says not to worry because no one is taking the claim seriously since we have so much overwhelming documentation of both of them harassing me.
Perfect. Record. Document.
Oh, man.
Gotta have that.
I have been at Aria's and we are taking the trip tomorrow. Booger is a road dog and loves car rides, so I know she will be very excited. The city we are going to is incredibly dog friendly, so she will be with us every step of the way. I'm not letting her out of my sight. Aria helped me go through every bit of info and make sure Mike is removed off everything now. W. All Booger's appointments and all my medical paperwork, all packages, sign-offs, you name it, all mail and packages are being rerouted to Aria's, and Mike doesn't know where that is. She has another home she rents out as an Airbnb, so once the current tenants are out, she's setting me up to stay there until I find a new job out of town somewhere and move.
W freaking friend. Aria, are you kidding me?
Angel!
Dude, successful and amazing. Just has a spare house that you
That
can
is
stay
so
at.
awesome.
That's crazy.
I want an Airbnb now so I can set my friends up in weird places. That would be so awesome. And I refuse to tell anyone where it is. It's like my secret lair.
I love that.
I won't tell anyone. Or if I do, it's like very out of the way.
The Airbnb is run by Wiley Rilson. Suspicious?
Suspicious? No. I think she knows I'm stressed and the only cure is cuddles. She's not entirely wrong. My mind is racing what would have happened if I didn't already have a lawyer pushing the return of my dog along, or if Aria, who was speaking up for me when I was useless effing blop on the floor crying and accomplishing absolutely nothing. Dude, your support team is amazing. I feel like a failure because it was a time for me to get things done, and all I did was cry like a child. Don't put that on yourself. Booger deserves better than me. Don't stop with the self-deprecating humor.
You are literally such a sweet, loving dog mama, and I'm so glad that you have Booger. And that Booger has you.
What if we had decided in those hours just to get rid of her or do worse to her? What was his whole plan? And why the F would Blair help him? I know he hates me, but JC. All I know for now, if I am no contact with all three of those bastards, and by the time my protective order is up for review next month, new job or no, I will have yanked every root I have placed down here and will get the F out of here. We have some relevant comments, but one relevant comment, Perky Cherry, you are not the a-hole. Your ex actions were manipulative and abusive. You did the right thing to protect yourself and the dog. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This just shows you that real friends, like whenever you have like solid people in your life, you know, you got real ones. Keep the real ones close.
She was sad when the cops were like, oh, do you have like a family member we can call? She did.
She did.
She did.
She did.
She just was, you know, I got that it made her more upset, which is understandable because like, oh yeah, my dad and brother literally aided and abetted in the kidnapping of my dog. Wow. But we made it.
We made it, everyone.
We made it. And, you know, at least Booger ended up back safe.
Yeah.
And that's that.
My girlfriend had zero respect for my culture, so I dumped her.
Hey, you can't respect the culture. I don't respect you.
I dated my ex for about 4 years. My family is from Nigeria, and I'm very proud of my culture. My ex is white. I grew up in Australia, but I have close ties to my roots. Originally, race was not an issue when we first started dating, but as we got more and more serious, I felt like she wasn't willing or didn't really understand how important my family and culture are to me. By the way, this comes from throwaway 323-130 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my sister-in-law was always close with my mother despite the cultural barrier and always seemed happy to come to family events and spend time with us and treats me like her own brother. She's even been learning how to cook some of our foods from my mother, which made my mom really happy. And my brother has been learning to cook North Indian style curries and stuff as well. My sister-in-law isn't conservative or anything, but culture is important to her. And my brother and I, as I get older, it feels important to me too, which I feel like as you get older, generally getting in touch with like whatever roots you have feels more important.
Yeah.
The final straw was at my brother's wedding that spurred me into action. My sister-in-law is Indian, and she's also very fiercely proud of her culture as well. And they've always talked about how mixed race kids in culturally neutral areas, whereas they wanted their kids to have the best of both worlds. I've noticed that my ex was never that into my culture, never really spent time with my family, and didn't really enjoy coming to family functions and that sort of thing, and used to always question some of our cultural practices in a really quizzical kind of way. And I could tell that she found it a bit dumb. She also made comments about immigrants, not taking the effort to assimilate. Anyway, my brother and sister-in-law had an amazing Indian-Nigerian fusion type of wedding because in her culture, white is the color of widows and black is the color of funerals. They specifically, under dress code, stated, wear your colors, no black or white. My ex mostly wears only black. It didn't really bother me, but on the day of the wedding, she wore a black dress. I asked her not to wear a black dress because it specifically stated on the invite not to, but she was adamant that my sister-in-law was being a bridezilla and that she didn't have to accommodate. Anyway, at the wedding, my ex was the only one in black. My sister-in-law took one look at her and asked her if she was going to a funeral after the wedding. My ex got very embarrassed and said that she didn't have any other dresses, when my cousin piped up with, "Oh, why didn't you tell us? You could have borrowed one of mine. We're the same size." My sister-in-law didn't say anything after that. They were too busy with other stuff, but my ex was fuming the entire time at the wedding. To make matters worse, she says a few other people asked her why she was wearing black. I didn't see anyone, but they might have. After the wedding, she was mad at me for not backing her up. You told her not to wear a black
Dude,
dress.
it was literally on the invite.
It was
like,
invite.
it's not like a bridezilla thing. They made one request.
Yeah, that's
Just
ridiculous.
please don't wear black. And you're like, no.
After the wedding, she was mad at me for not backing her up. I told her not to wear the black dress and that if she needed to buy one, she had plenty of time. She said she didn't need to buy one since she has the right to wear what she wanted and that it was unreasonable to dictate something like this for a dress code since she wasn't from their culture. If you're going to their wedding, you're participating in their culture.
Is that the logic there of being like, I don't respect your culture enough to even follow your rules?
I don't know necessarily if like that isolated incident is, but what I'm seeing from her in aggregate feels like it's getting towards, I don't know, some kind of race flash.
That
Just
feels racist to me.
sensitivity. The fight escalated, and finally, in the heat of the moment, I broke up with her. It's been a few days now, and she's blowing up my phone, alternatively begging me for another chance, but also mad at me for not backing her up. She's like, baby, take me back. But also, what the heck? I can't believe you didn't back me up, but take me back. But I can wear a black dress, but take me back.
Take me back in my black dress. Please take me back while I wear my black dress wherever I want.
Please take me back, but also I hate your culture.
Yeah, let's do that one.
I feel like, given how well my sister-in-law interacts with my family, even though she's from another culture, how respectful she is, I want someone like that. For me, a wedding is about families, not just individuals. And I don't want to lose my relationship with my family over my girlfriend/wife. I need some perspective here. Did I do the right thing, or should I have backed up my ex? I mean, it's a silly final, right? The bride herself wasn't even mad about it. I'm sure they can figure something out, and there is an update. So I spoke to my brother and sister-in-law about it because they'd noticed I seemed down and didn't want to talk to my ex at all. They convinced me to talk to her because they thought it was very disrespectful what she did, but her kind of white didn't understand family or culture, and I did invest 4 years of my life with her. But it's like, do you want to be with someone who can't venture to try to understand even after? It's like, it's okay. I think it would be okay even to be like, wait, why do I have to wear that? And he's like, well, it's like a cultural thing and it's like a sign of respect and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, I think that would be okay.
Sure.
But she was so adamantly against it to the point where
Yeah.
she embarrassed herself.
Well, and the thing is it's been 4 years. This is something that if you're that culturally insensitive, if you've been dating for 4 months, it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to, you're kind of a cornbread white girl and you don't know what culture is. You don't know what you're doing here. Let's teach you.
Yeah.
4 years? You should
should
already
know.
know
You
or
should
have
know.
expressed an interest in knowing or a desire to want to.
It's your culture. It's a part of who you are, and the fact that she is not willing to take that piece of who you are, that doesn't mean she's accepting you. So if someone was like that with me and I'm like, I want to show you my Filipino side, and they're like, no, I'm done. Sorry.
Because, that's a part of you.
Yeah,
that's
She's
a
not
part-
accepting a part of you.
That's literally a part of you.
Completely out of hand, just like so dismissive.
If a person you were dating didn't want to try any Filipino food, deal breaker or not?
I got to see their reasoning. Like if it's for like health reasons, that makes sense. They just don't want to try it.
No, their answer is, I'm not part of your culture. I don't have to eat your food.
That's a slap in my face. Then I would literally be like, why are you with me? I'm very outward Filipino.
You taste me all the time.
You've already had Filipino, babe.
You're very close-minded, and then how fortunate are you to be like, I don't want to try someone's culture. I'm like, okay, great. No, I don't want to talk to you.
But we got more of the story. So my brother and sister-in-law told me that I owed it to myself to get some closure, and I agreed. I spoke to her a few days ago because how abrupt the relationship ended, and it did not go well. We met and had coffee in a park. I told her how hurt I was that she would disrespect my brother and sister-in-law on their wedding day by wearing a dress in one of the two colors they asked us not to wear. She told me that she'd forgotten about the wedding and had to rush to get something to wear. BS. I told her I wasn't convinced. The wedding had been on everyone's mind, and we asked to help set up the hall, which she didn't want to help with, but I went. She told me this was a stupid fight over a stupid dress. I didn't feel that way. I felt it was her not respecting our culture. That's when she got annoyed and told me that culture is a man-made thing and that we were in Australia now. I told her that my heritage was always going to be important to me and my future children, and that I couldn't be with someone who didn't feel that way. She mentioned things like FGM. None of the women in my family have gone through that. And I told her that culture is a dynamic thing and that my family didn't even believe in that stuff and weren't that backwards.
Yeah, that's actually super for her to be like, yeah, well, what about that? It's like, okay, so do you just think everyone does that?
Yeah. I was offended she'd even think so. Surely you see from meeting them that they're not like that. It was wrong of me, but I pointed out that all my mother, my female cousins, etc., were more educated and successful than her. Snap. That was when the conversation started rapidly going downhill. I mean, understandable. She told me she'd chosen a less strenuous career for me because we wanted to have kids and she wanted to be there to raise them, unlike my double income family members, including my mother, because I'd mentioned that my mother had work weekends sometimes. My mother got an education against all odds, and my parents have always been after me to educate myself, which I have. That pissed me off. I told her quite angrily that I always respected what my mother and father had done for us, that she was 28 when she met me, so she didn't choose a less strenuous career for me. She couldn't blame me for that. Also,
like,
crazy to be like, we might have kids someday. Let me totally change my career path.
Yeah.
It's like you can change it when you have kids.
Yeah, that was a you decision, and now she's making it like,
This did it for you.
how dare you?
Yeah. She then got upset and said she didn't have much time to have kids. How could I do that to her? She should have listened to her family, that I was untrustworthy and she'd wasted the best years of her life on me. I told her if that's the way she felt, then it's better that we stay broken up, and got up and walked off.
Hey, that's how you do it.
I got a nasty Facebook, a message from various family members calling me everything, including the N-word, to how my ex was lucky she didn't get AIDS from me.
Hey, look at you. You missed. Hey,
Wow,
look at
I
you.
see where it came
Dodging
from.
red flags left and right.
Yeah, you definitely made a great decision not staying with her.
I blocked all of them. I told my family about it, and they were furious. I'm better off without her. Darn tootin'. It's a good thing we didn't live together, even though we've got stuff at both our houses. Her family was a bit conservative like that. She's texted me a few times since apologizing and wanted to talk again, but I only responded to say that I wanted to pick up my stuff and I'd box her stuff up, so we should probably meet at the park to exchange it. An hour later at midnight, before she kept texting and calling me to come give her stuff immediately, so I went with my brother, sister-in-law, and cousin, and we exchanged stuff. Her dad was there, and he started getting riled up, calling me names, a piece of crap, etc., but my sister-in-law got right up in his face and started yelling right back at him.
Nice.
And told him that we go to the police, and showed him the 15 odd messages of his daughter saying that if I didn't come get my stuff, she'd destroy it. And she was happy to post all the nasty messages his family had sent to me to their workplace. My ex begged her dad to calm down, and so he walked off. I refused to go inside the house and told my ex to just get my stuff. Turns out she hadn't packed up my stuff, so my sister-in-law suggested we drop her stuff off at a mutual friend's house, and ex had a week so she could do the same. I called around and found my friend, and she agreed to it at the time as well. My ex then messaged me today apologizing because she wasn't expecting my family members to turn up and that she'd want to talk and she reacted badly. So she wants to talk again. With her father there, yeah, right. I told her the same thing. She had a week to get my stuff packed up and dropped off to the friend's house. She texted me back saying it didn't have to be like this.
Oh, but it turns out it does, babe. Sorry about that.
But I told her it did. And I didn't want to discuss anything further. But if you want to discuss more stuff with us further, you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap her profile. I'm going to get right into this rest of the story. In the future, I'll notice warning signs about her family's behavior and stuff well ahead and not always feel like I have to prove myself over and over again because I'm black or put up with Nigerian scam jokes or being affectionately called Blackie.
What?
Because I don't want to make a fuss or because I didn't want to be seen as oversensitive. Really quick, there's more to the story, but thank God this man is breaking up with this person.
Dude. He already put up with too much.
Why did it take that much to? I don't know.
Maybe she was hot.
She could have been hot. She could have been
hot.
really,
She
really
could've been
hot.
really,
dude.
really hot.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
She must have been so hot, dude.
Yeah. To put up with like that, she must have been hot.
Ooh.
It wasn't until I spoke to my brother and to a lesser extent, my sister-in-law after this conversation that I realized how not normal this was. Anyway, I have dropped her stuff off and I'm hoping I get my stuff back from her place. The most expensive thing is a tablet, but I won't be too out of sorts if I don't get it back. It'll just be an expensive lesson, but a lesson well worth learning. And that is where this story and stream ends.
My husband keeps breaking boundaries with his ex. Even our friends are mad.
Oh, even the friends are mad. You know you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, he's in the wrong here. I, 37 female, have been with my husband, male 39, for 15 years. We will call him Jake. When we first met, he told me a story about some girlfriend he had in middle school who broke his heart and how that impacted his life. A girl in middle school impacted your life?
Maybe it was like really like a Fault in Our Stars type stuff.
Within the first few months of meeting, I hear this story. She apparently drops out of high school, so he's not interacted with her at all during our relationship. By the way, this comes from Acceptable Income 40 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So about 4 years ago, we run into her at a local bar, and he's apparently over it. To emphasize what a big deal this was, he had friends that I had known the whole relationship that quit speaking to this girl in middle school and had continued not speaking to her out of respect for him. Middle school drama, I know. But real adults were avoiding her because of him.
How old are these people?
They're 37.
What?
Now, suddenly the source of his woman trauma. She was a girl. You can't even say woman trauma. She was a girl. She was a girl.
Woman trauma, yeah.
Is back in the picture and I'm uncomfortable. For the first few years, she was everywhere our friend circle was, out of nowhere. And it became apparent that my husband, Jake, was inviting her out. There was so much flirting. If she was there, all of his attention and jokes were on her. She was really sweet, but I never felt like she wanted much to do with me. Of course, she's trying to steal your man. On his birthday 3 years ago, my other friend got angry with his attention on her and led me out of the building because it was so obnoxious. Last summer, another friend pointed out to him and to me that she was not good for our relationship because of how close and flirty they were. Why is everyone aware of how flirty they were and OP's still in this relationship?
Yeah, you're like 3 years in?
Yeah, and they're flirting a lot. That night, he texted her about where he had moved to in the bar we were at, and not me. I was standing right next to her. I finally broke and said that I was very uncomfortable and that I would need to have boundaries around this. Why did this take you so long? He continued to speak to her, mostly without me knowing. This summer, 2 of his friends said some odd things that indicated he was very close to her now. It was like, if you want to know what's going on with her, talk to Jake. And oh yeah, she gave us so many rides home from the bar.
What happened to the actively avoiding this person?
I think that's why the friends are upset. They're like, dude, we've been actively avoiding her for 30 years.
Yeah, why are you...
Why are you getting with... Why are you
Is this just
talking
like
to her?
a deep-seated, like, oh, this is the one girl that got
It's like,
away
this is
and
my
I
first
need to get her
love.
back?
He gets excited about some hip-hop song and they need to talk about it. I did not grow up on hip-hop, so I don't know all the songs. And I guess that's an issue. He did say that he has set better boundaries with her, but I think there's some emotional issue going on. Yes! Girl, wake up!
I'm
Come
not
on.
sure if it's my lack of hip-hop knowledge or he's secretly in love with this girl.
They're flirting a lot, but I don't know if that means anything.
I think I just need to listen to Nas.
He still comes home after 10 p.m. and she's the one who is on the phone. I will say that I think they had some kind of conversation because she's less flirty with him.
And this is going to backfire because now you've turned it into the forbidden fruit.
And they want it. Now they want it even more.
It's gonna make it worse.
Last night, he stumbled into the house after 11 p.m. after I was unable to get a hold of him. I had made him the dinner he requested earlier and put it away and gone to bed when I hear some strange music.
So,
It's
OP,
nice.
you haven't learned anything about rap music, I see.
Clearly not. It was him and her playing music to each other and reminiscing.
In the house? Wait.
In your guys'
No.
house?
Like, that's over the phone, right? There's no way
We're gonna
he
read it.
snuck his middle school
Girlfriend, yeah.
lover into your home.
He wanted to know if he should go to therapy, and she said it would be okay, but that they both had such complex issues, and that he could call her whenever, and she would always pick up. Then, him being wasted started fantasizing what would have happened if they had stayed together in middle school. You guys probably would have broken up. What is this? It's so strange. On one hand, I appreciate that she's cool to flirting, but it should never have been there.
Whoa. She hasn't cooled anything. She's having drunk conversations with your
About-
husband at 11 at night. What?
I told him that I don't think the conversations with her from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. is appropriate. He thinks I'm being crazy because they were talking, mostly about him needing to go to therapy, and she gets him. I think it's a bunch of BS, personally.
Yeah.
He has so many friends, and I have been very clear that I tried to befriend her, and it did not go well. Then the open flirting and her being out with him when I was not. He says they're close because of their childhood. Both had bad childhood experiences, and they experienced them together. Am I thinking that there is an emotional connection and I'm the third wheel because I felt like I was on their date?
Yeah, exactly.
You are. You are the third wheel. 100%.
At this point,
Yeah.
he should be talking to you about going to therapy.
Why is he talking to this girl that he dated in middle school? She also is fairly new, last 4 years out of 15, and I'm not sure what to do with this. Last
They've
4
been together
years?
for 15 years.
15 years, but she's been flirting, and you're just kind of like passively asking him to stop. It seems like you're like, hey, don't do that.
I
And
think
he's
I
like,
get it
"Meh."
though. I think if I'd been with someone for 11 years
Yeah.
and then they started being like extra chummy with like, oh, my middle school crush that embarrassed me, like, and we weren't ever gonna speak ever again. I'd be like, there's no universe.
Yeah.
And I'm being crazy. I don't need to care about that. That's never gonna happen, right?
This is where I may be the a-hole. I told him that I asked for boundaries and I feel that they are still being broken. So I told him that I'm not sure how to continue on in our relationship if she is a necessary part. You're not the a-hole!
Oh no.
You're not the a-hole, OP!
you're so such a what a softie.
Oh.
You're like, I might be wrong for
tried to
setting
set
a boundary.
I am not handling her being around well at all, and I have made my feelings very clear. He says all his energy and resources go to me, but this is a very strange connection. I do think he needs to go to therapy. We have been discussing it for a while, so I like that. But I don't like how she has to sign off on it because they get each other. It could be just friends thing now, but I'm not sure.
Oh no.
It's not.
Kimberly Fine just my
He has girl and guy friends, so that's not the issue. It comes down to their behavior and how it made me uncomfortable, and I'm not sure if I'm the a-hole for telling him to cut it off. And there is an update.
26 years.
Thank you for the feedback. Obviously, there are many layers to a story and relationships that can't be examined from an emotional post where I was clearly questioning my perspective and instincts. Some extra background to clarify a few things before I get into what is happening next. I really found the Darvo info useful, and I am well aware how easy it is to connect over issues to someone outside the relationship because it's easy. It's like going on vacation to Disneyland because the person isn't living the hard stuff with you, and they are solely there to validate you because they don't have the entire picture. His high school friend circle is very close, and all the wives that have married in agree that it's strange and unusual. They are all friends, know what's going on with one another, and remember multiple classes and people from high school. Wow, that's crazy. I met a stepmom at our kids' sporting event, and her husband was 2 years behind mine, and she said the same about their friend circle / school area. Think 75 to 100 graduating kids.
Yep, small town.
It's gotta be a small town.
Tiny, teeny,
Yeah.
weeny town.
And they know each other and have started hanging out again like there was no 20-year gap. It's a very strange dynamic to say the least, but that's why I didn't immediately see red flags. That, and I didn't think a crush from age 13
Boom, right on the
you
money.
nailed it, was or would be an issue. We did speak, and he genuinely apologized after calming down for making me feel uncomfortable, and because he acknowledged there was flirting, and it usually comes with drinking. This was weekend number 2, where he was up late talking to her since last summer that I'm aware of. I said no contact and couples counseling because I do think this got way out of control beyond what I'm aware of. I think 2021, it was probably deeper than I know, so we'll see what happens. I agree there is an attention and validation issue. Hopefully he gets help regardless of what I decide to do. We're dealing with all of his grandparents passing within a month of each other and a DUI. Wow. He's not in the right headspace at the moment and he does need help, but that's becoming not my problem. I did read the messages. I'm not going to go into detail, but I was able to retrieve deleted messages. This convo was very normal and friendly, supportive, but he was wasted and was going back to 13 and it was all him reminiscing. While I would call most of their conversations normal, I don't think his is always innocent. Well, he's the one who said, "What if we were still together?"
Yeah, that's not innocent, dude.
That's the opposite. And they're unnecessary. He has friends that gave him the same advice she did, and it's well established that she's newer to the friend circle now, and him deciding that they bond over their childhood trauma is absurd at age 40. We all had trauma. It was awful. Time to deal with it with a professional, not the source of the woman trauma. By the way, we would never be the source of your trauma. You know what? You need us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap our profile.
Just give it a tap. We might be live right now, for real. A 40-year-old man.
40-year-old man's obsessed with his 13-year-old love.
He needs therapy.
Before even reading these posts yesterday, I decided it was no contact or me. It should not have ever been at a point where I felt left out of my relationship, and it should have been respected on both sides, more his. I have not said anything to her because these are his choices I'm dealing with, but I'm not above it if it gets to that. Long story short, this isn't a friendship that needs to continue. I can't control either of them, so I'll be making my choices based on what's best for me.
Okay, boom. That's perfect.
And that's the end. I think OP's just kind of realized after 4 years, you know what? I'm just going to do what's best for me.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
And if that means leaving
any
him,
given moment.
Then yeah, that's the answer.
Unless there's kids involved, and you got to do what's best for the kids.
Yeah, and then we have to think about it a little
bit more. Think of that with the kids.
Mm-hmm. But that's the end of that story. And for anyone just jumping in now, TLDR, basically OP has been married to this man for 15 years. And for the past 4 years, he has been reconnecting with his childhood middle school girlfriend, who I guess they had some shared childhood trauma. But the breakup in middle school was so bad that he made his friends go actively avoid her for how many
for their entire lives.
Yeah, whole lives, over 20 years. And now they're reconnecting and flirting, and OP's like, this is weird. I don't know how to feel about this. And now his friends are like, hey, their relationship is inappropriate. And OP's like, I don't know what to do.
The flirting evolved over 4 years.
And finally, OP's like putting her foot down, saying this is not acceptable. The boyfriend's kind of trying to gaslight her a little bit, but finally seems to be maybe coming around, saying, you're right, I was flirting because whenever I drink, we flirt. I shouldn't be doing that.
A cop out.
Yeah, and so OP's saying, you know what? I'm giving an ultimatum. It's either no contact with his childhood girlfriend or you lose me.
Yeah.
And
I think there should be a therapy clause on there as well.
Yeah, you need therapy and also to go no contact with his girl.
He needs to figure out why his brain is doing this to him.
Yeah, but that's the end of that story. So let's get into the next one.
On to the next.
It's my father's 70th birthday, but my wife isn't allowing us to attend.
That's your father's 70th birthday.
It's a special one.
That's the most special birthday.
We've been married for 12 years now, and it's generally been great. There has been some odd behavior of my wife being controlling, not liking people to visit. But despite this, she is typically positive, driven, and caring, and has many good points. By the way, this comes from 777 access denied on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we got married fairly quick and didn't have much of a relationship before having kids. The first red flag was that she lost it when going to attend my brother's wedding. She said, you cannot go to the wedding and must choose between me and the baby or your family.
Oh my goodness.
That's actually
already
crazy.
A red flag.
That's a really big red flag.
Immediately.
I was shocked as this was about 18 months after being married. She was asking me to choose between my side of the family and her over attending a wedding. There had been zero conflicts, and my brother helped us renovate much of our house for free. That was just one sign. After I started looking into narcissism, I was shocked to find that she ticks nearly every box.
I was shocked to find a picture of her in the book.
It has been extremely difficult also, as she's offended every person on my side of the family many times.
How does she
No
do
good.
it?
No good. I don't know.
Not good.
One of my brothers and his wife wants nothing to do with us, and now she's hurt my older brother who helped work on the house. Over the past 12 years, there would be something like 25 individual events or circumstances, such as canceling events, sending abusive text messages, critical of people, especially family members, uncaring, judgmental, sabotaging family events or gatherings, especially last minute. Lots of stuff that the wife is doing in these 12 years.
So many.
Oh my
How
goodness.
does she make time for it?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work.
A lot.
Some examples can be my father had a 70th birthday and booked a kind of small resort an hour away. Kind of small resort? You booked a resort?
I feel like resort sounds big.
Yeah, I feel like a resort can't be small. But anyway, my wife wasn't feeling 100%, but honestly, it wasn't that sick at all. She used that to say none of us could attend the party, not even someone taking the kids along. I wasn't allowed to go either. She defends it by saying she was sick, and anyone who questions her behavior is selfish and not caring.
Okay.
You poor
she's,
thing.
I don't know a tiny play my tiny
Yeah.
violin.
There are multiple stories just like this. The most recent was that there was a combined birthday organized with my brother's 6-year-old daughter and our daughter turning 8 years old. My wife had a disagreement that week with my sister-in-law and wouldn't let me attend my brother's 40th birthday, which upset his wife. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So when it came to the combined birthday, the other sister-in-law wanted to bring an additional cake for her baby turning 1. My wife said she wasn't asked about bringing the cake, so she became furious and said none of us could now attend the birthday at all.
Because someone was bringing a cake?
Girl, she just wants to add on to the...
It's more cake.
Yeah, they literally. And it's for a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
It's going to get destroyed anyway.
Yeah. What is this?
Like, it's already a joint birthday. Bring in a 1-year-old. Like,
Yeah.
that's a good birthday. That's a special one. So none of us can attend the birthday at all, something that had been arranged for months in advance. I was going to be in town that day anyway, and our 8-year-old daughter and smaller 4-year-old sister ended up staying over at my brother's where the party was going to be. My wife called and asked what was going on that night. When she found out that I was at my brother's without her permission
my
or
God.
not what she wanted, she was furious and went almost insane.
Okay.
This is
You
crazy.
need to have a conversation with your wife now.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's been too long. It's been too long.
been
You
too
put your
long.
foot down and say like, hey, it seems like a lot of my boundaries are being crossed.
Yeah.
Seems like you're trying to like control a lot of my life.
Yeah, way too
Um,
controlling.
Yeah. Or maybe in a nicer way you could say that. But
Yeah, people don't generally
probably
take
like-
it
yeah.
well when you
you say
say
they're
they're
controlling.
controlling.
but something along those lines that
Yeah.
gets that point across.
Yeah.
Where you're saying like this isn't working. Like maybe
Yeah.
like couples counseling.
Right.
Because the fact that you're calling her insane on a Reddit post
Right.
doesn't bode well.
It was already like a red flag. I feel when he said like our relationship has generally been good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's as soon as I read that I was like, nah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. We live 3 hours away. She demanded I take the kids who were asleep away from the house or she would drive over and get them. The combined party was meant to be the next day, so I thought, no, she's not always controlling me. So I'll stay at my brother's and try and attend the party. You are so brave. You're so
she
brave.
couldn't possibly always be controlling.
No. I have free will.
I can see my
right?
brother.
Yeah. You would think.
You'd be wrong.
My other family turned up, and not longer after my wife arrived, furious, and picked up the 2 girls without talking to anyone, she left the party. She was so furious at me, she was considering getting divorced over me going to my own family's birthday.
The fact that she's bringing this up now, like she's bringing up divorce.
Yeah, like maybe you should just let her run with that idea.
Yeah.
Just like, you know what? Yeah,
Okay.
I guess.
Fine.
She completely ruined the whole weekend and everything that was planned. Yet she still plays the victim, accusing the sister-in-law of being deceptive, having the kids stay over. I said it was mostly my fault for bringing them there. I typically have to keep contact with my family partially secret from her.
That's so
oh my
messed
gosh,
up.
that's so sad. I was showing her a photo on my phone when she grabbed it and went through the messages. This is just one red flag after another.
Incredibly unhealthy marriage.
She found a message I forgot to delete to the sister-in-law saying, I believe my wife can recover from this type of behavior. My wife went mental again and messaged the sister-in-law saying actual false information about me just to try to get the sister-in-law to hate me.
Why are you guys together?
This is so insane. Yeah.
You guys
Why are
should
you here?
divorce. You guys should divorce because this is
I agree.
unhealthy, and it seems like neither of you like each other.
Yeah. And this isn't the kind of stuff, like, you could try to talk about it, but this isn't the kind of stuff
Yeah.
that someone's just gonna like fix in themselves.
No.
So just like remove yourself. It's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Sounds
probably
like.
help the kids too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
The
to
kids
not
are
be
gonna
in this
get
environment.
crazy, like, coping mechanisms learned from this. She also said very hurtful personal attacks towards the sister-in-law. She put a post on social media about walking on eggshells with family members. My brother, the father of the daughter whose birthday party she ruined, left a laugh emoji. That's funny. My wife then started a conversation on social media. He said she always played the victim and needed help. She couldn't take this and started saying very hurtful, offensive things about their relationship and any struggles that they could be having.
Stop offending people.
Just quit it. Just like
quit it.
quit it. Leave people alone.
Leave them alone.
The sister-in-law was very hurt by what she said, saying to me she's not even sure she could have anything to do with my wife again. After all this, I managed to get to talk to my wife. She says she feels so free now that my family is mostly offended and cut off. She feels free that the family is offended. That's crazy.
So unhealthy.
Yeah.
Divorce your wife.
Please. I think she actually enjoys hurting me. Oh, that's actually really sad. I took on a job 2 to 3 hours away from where we lived before. She was very keen to move where I wanted to keep looking for a job close by. I didn't realize this may have been a strategy to isolate me more from the family. Ooh, true. That's a good point. There are countless other things, but that is a brief breakdown of a couple of scenarios where she deeply hurt people. Brief?
Just a couple of a long list.
That was not
It's
brief.
like when they open up like one of those little lists and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, yes, here are all the times she hurt people. And they're like, well, that's not that long.
And then it
goes,
drops and like rolls down the stairs. Yeah. The issue is she cannot see that she's ever made one single mistake or admit to it. She will deflect, deny, or use any method to deny it's anything to do with her. After being in this relationship for so long, I just learned to have no life, no real friends, and be controlled constantly without being fully aware. That is like a big thing to realize after 12 years.
Yeah, you're like, wow.
That like will just turn your world upside down.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. It is embarrassing and something I try to keep hidden. Even just the other day, she went out all day, leaving me with the kids. I had a friend call in for about an hour in the afternoon. She was furious that I had someone over without her permission. We were having a jam together and playing music. She threatened to smash all my guitars,
Oh my God.
saying that she hates me. I do love her.
Stop.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I do love her and believe that she can recover from this behavior. Okay, but
I think
what
she
does that
genuinely
mean?
needs, I honestly think that she genuinely needs like medication.
For sure. I think
Or,
there's
like, a
something going on.
therapist. Yeah.
Yes.
This has got to be something because
Yeah.
this
Because
is
also,
so
like,
much.
OP, like, what do you mean recover from this behavior? Like, what do you,
Well, I think he's
'cause-
implying that there is some sort of
something wrong with
Yeah.
her? But that's the thing is that it keeps happening over and over.
Yeah,
And so it's
nothing's
like,
changing.
what would need to happen for the recovery is for like you, OP, to not be like being treated this way or for it to not be affecting you. But
Yeah.
it's just going to keep affecting you if you're around her.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
she does care about selective people and will often cook food or do volunteer jobs, even clean for people. Also give money to someone in need. She had a rough upbringing and an uncaring, unloving mother and a mostly absent father who worked constantly. You know who else is working constantly? Us, because we're live every single day on YouTube at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile and
Just
you can
tap
join
it.
us.
Join us.
Join us. Yeah, but there's a little bit more, but
Yeah, you need a well, okay. One, if you think that there is something medically or mentally wrong with your wife,
Yes.
then you need to tell her and say like, "Hey,
yes.
I love you. Let's take you to a doctor. Let's get this checked out because I can't do this."
Right.
Two, if you're over that, you can't do that. You divorce her
Yeah.
because this is going on too long.
Yeah, and I think it's so hard too when like you like OP is saying like yeah, I love her and like these are the good things about her.
Yeah.
But like there's so many terrible things.
So many
where
worse.
it's like I get it, there's good things, you love her. You've been with her for so long.
12 years.
And have done so much with her, like started this
Yeah.
family, all this kind of crazy stuff. But at a certain point, like you can't really
Can't do it.
It just seems like you can't really I mean, I don't know if I can't say you can't love someone because I don't know you, but like,
Yeah.
but it seems hard to like say that someone is a good person after you've just made a giant list of how they're not.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
And also like repeatedly called your wife crazy and insane, which seemingly she kind of is.
right.
But if that's what you think about her, then why are you still married?
Right. Like you kind of, when you say that you love someone, you gotta keep both good sides and bad sides in mind.
Mhm.
Seems like you love the good sides, but not so much the bad sides. However,
Yeah, and it
those
seems
are
like
a part of
the
her.
bad sides outweigh the good.
right. But there is more. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure what my options are. She's made it clear that if I do something she doesn't like, she explodes and punishes me in one way or another, which has often been separating me from my family or hurting family so that they don't want anything to do with us. So any advice is appreciated. Okay, so not that much left at the end there,
Yeah.
but
Well, I've already given my advice.
yeah, I think that you know what to do.
You know what you must do.
Yeah, like that really seems like you knew what it is, you know? Like you don't know what to do, but if you do something she doesn't like, if you leave her maybe, then she hurts people, and that's not good. You don't want to be with someone who's going to explode like that.
No.
You didn't marry a bomb. Knowingly.
Exactly.
You did, but like
but you shouldn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
you shouldn't have to be married to one.
yeah. I think you know what to do, OP. It's okay
Just
to
do
walk away.
Yeah.
It's
Walk
all
away
right.
from that bomb with
Yeah.
it exploding, and then you put the sunglasses on.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that is the end of that story.
That's the end.
So we'll see you next time.
yo.
My girlfriend destroyed my gift for my little sister, so I broke up with her.
Do it. Break up. Sorry, I wasn't ready.
He's in it, ladies and gentlemen. So, my girlfriend, Megan, and I stay together. We live together. She had a fight with her parents and asked if we could move in together. So we did. Not long ago, I had to take my little sister in as well. So we got a full house now. I can't disclose much except the fact that I was her only option. By the way, this comes from me v girlfriend Redditak from r/OK Storytime.
Oh.
So, when we had the talk about me taking my sister in, my girlfriend Megan did not like this idea. She told me that I was too young to have such a responsibility. What will happen when we get married? Have our own kids? Our place was already too small, etc., but didn't outright say she had an issue with it.
That is literally saying she has a billion issues.
It sounds like she listed all the issues
Sounds
she
like
had.
she outright said she had an issue with it.
Oh, tell him, Sophia. I obviously couldn't turn my back on my sister, or you could,
Dude, I would turn my back on my sister in an instant.
right? We got to
Out
do it.
on the street.
Come on,
you
get
know?
out of here.
She wants a job. Pfft, yeah, right.
Needs a place to live? Streets.
Streets to the streets with you.
They'll teach you. Street smart. So I went ahead with it despite her reservations, my girlfriend's reservations. Although my sister has always been friendly to Megan, from the moment she met her, Megan is always just indifferent with her. And it sucks because my sister really admires her and enjoys talking to her. I just thought maybe they don't connect because of my sister's age. But a month ago, I bought my sister a Nintendo Switch, and she has always wanted one, and all of her friends have one. I figured she deserved it as she does well in school. Also, really quick, pretty W brother, taking the sister and like
Getting her
basically
a Switch?
becoming her like father. You trying to say something, Sophia?
I did
Yeah.
give Sophia a switch.
Oh. Give her another. She helps with chores and is generally a well-behaved kid. She loved it and she has been taking good care of it. Megan wasn't happy when I bought it. She actually sulked.
Why is Megan caring so much about all these good things that OP's doing for his sister?
Where's my Switch?
That's true.
I'm the girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm
I
beautiful.
should get the Switch first.
But if they're living together, they can both use the Switch.
No,
No, only one player.
only one can have it.
Yeah.
You're right. If it's her Switch, then she shouldn't let anyone else use it.
Yes.
No one in the house should be allowed to use her Switch.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that. Switches are meant to be shared.
I'm saying
Switch
no.
up.
Nope.
I'm switching up.
Nope. No, she would borrow the Switch.
Socialism.
She would borrow the Switch incessantly, and my sister would not say no, maybe because she was afraid to, but Megan would use it too much, so much that it felt like it belonged to her. My sister never said anything. She would just patiently wait for her turn. Sometimes Megan would use it even when my sister was at school, saying that she gets bored when I'm at work.
Maybe get a job, Megan.
Maybe. All this made me uncomfortable, so I asked her to please tone it down on the Switch as it's unfair to my sister since it was her gift. Megan agreed, although it was clear that she was upset. She gave us the silent treatment for the rest of the night. Last week when I came back from pricking at my sister...
No. Sorry, I read ahead. Frick. Oh, God.
Now I read ahead. You're spoiling it for everyone.
Oh.
Last week when I came back from picking up my sister from school after work, we found her Switch broken.
No.
Ah, she's a child.
Instant breakup?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No talk, no just...
I mean, I would still talk, but with the intention of breaking up.
Talk about breaking up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm breaking up with you. Talk.
There we
talk,
go.
Talk
Talk
succeeded.
over.
Successful. And that's putting it lightly. It looked like it was deliberately smashed.
Oh, my God.
My sister was distraught, and when I asked Megan what the F happened, she told us that she accidentally dropped it and broke. Whoops!
Oh, well, maybe you can go intentionally pay for a new one.
Wait. Reenactment.
Bro, I
That's
knew
what
you
happened.
were going to drop it. I knew you were going to
Intentionally.
Oh my goodness.
Did you see that? That was some top tier stuff right there.
Yeah, but that's because you would all.
Editor, play it back in slow-mo and show how professional it was. And we'll let the people decide. Comment
You
below.
didn't even have to try that hard.
No, it was professional.
God, what if your screen is broken?
That I live for the art. I live for the art.
He's
If
a
my,
performance artist.
if my screen has to get broken in the process, I've done my duty.
Yeah, regular Picasso. Cut off your ear next. That was Van Gogh. Van Gogh, cut off your ear.
No. But it was obvious that she was lying. And when I pointed that out and all the other times where she seemed to have an issue with an 11-year-old for no reason, she got annoyed and told me that everything was fine until my sister moved in. I called her childish and asked her to please pack her bags and go back to her parents' house because I needed time and space to think. This only made her more annoyed, but she did eventually leave. Her best friend texted me last night to tell me that I was an a-hole for kicking Megan out because on top of everything else, I know how rocky her relationship with her parents is. Does this make me an a-hole? We have an update. But is OP the a-hole? Did OP unjustly kick her out where she new information seems like she doesn't have a good relationship with her parents?
It's not OP's issue.
Correct. Maybe she should have thought about that before bashing the Switch like
Yeah.
a baby, little whiny
Maybe
baby.
she shouldn't have been a terrible person.
Yeah.
That's a great thought.
Yeah.
If she wasn't such a child, then she wouldn't have to live with her parents.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Also, I want to go back, get a job. Why doesn't she have a job?
There's this really fun game called
Get
Money.
a job.
You get the job,
And then you get the money.
and then you get the money. Game over.
Mhm.
But let's get into
You
this.
won't be playing Switch all day. You'll have something to do. Getting a job is like Switch, but in real life.
Twitch streamer.
That's not
Switch
a real
on Twitch.
job. That's not a real job.
Switch on Twitch.
That's not a real job. You can't be a streamer, dude.
Yeah, dude, you can't
do live.
You can't like record 5 days a week with 2 studios.
that's
and
ridiculous.
Expect to make a
That's
living.
ridiculous. No.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Disgusting. But we have an update.
Oh, yeah?
I just wanted to write an update on what happened after I posted. When I kicked Megan out, I already knew that there was no way we could continue our relationship. After reading the comments on the post, I knew that I needed to officially end the relationship and not leave things hanging. I only said to her I needed time to think because I wanted her to leave without a fuss. She had already caused enough trouble. I hadn't spoken to her since what happened because I was ignoring her texts. Some of them telling me that she missed me and wanted to come back home. I decided to text her to arrange a meeting. She told me to come over to her friend's place because she only stayed a few days at her parents' place. When I got to her friend's place, I told Megan that the relationship is not working out for me and it's best that we break up. I said, I don't see myself getting over the fact that she intentionally destroyed something that meant a lot to my sister over her irrational jealousy. Not to mention that she never really opened up to my sister, which should have been enough for me to end the relationship then.
True. She was giving red flags all throughout this relationship, and this one was just the most apparent and like in your face.
It took the rose-tinted glasses off. It
Yeah.
shattered them.
Shattered
into
the
a million
rose tinted
pieces.
glasses, and now instead of just seeing like a little rose tint, it was just giant red in your face, a flag. You're blinded by redness.
Broken glass everywhere.
Broken glass. You're stepping on glass.
Ooh,
You're
ouch.
bleeding. More
Ooh,
red. You're just
God.
seeing red. Now you're mad. Now you're seeing red. Now you're charging like a bull.
God. But my sister deserves to be around someone who is willing to form a relationship with her. I had the rest of her stuff and proceeded to give it to her. She started crying and pleading and then accused me of choosing my sister over her.
Yeah, duh. I'm gonna choose my sister over you skanky banky anytime.
But also said that I clearly
I don't
never
know what
loved
that
her.
was.
You want to retry or what?
No,
keep
no.
going on?
No, I'm
You wanna
sticking
reassess?
with it. I'm sticking with it. I
All
choose
right.
my sister over that terrible person.
There he is.
There we go. Anytime.
So much better. She knew that this would happen after my sister moved in. And you know that I would tell you that anytime you need to put a smile on your face, you can go tap our profile every weekday at 3 p.m. PST and join us live. YouTube, Facebook, we're there. We're live
there.
right now.
TikTok.
Do it. Come on. But before we end the story, we do have another small bit left. Is this deserved? Is this too harsh on the now ex-girlfriend?
No, not harsh at all. I mean, it's harsh, but harsh deserved.
It's totally warranted.
Yeah, it's warranted harshness.
And also, like, is it really even? I guess it is sudden to like have someone like move out and whatnot. But again, it's all just totally warranted.
You know what else is sudden? Breaking someone's switch.
That's true. And to Opie's point, it was really her attitude of never accepting the sister.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't
that's a giant red flag. You got to, if you are close to family, your partner's got to accept that family.
That's true.
Or it's just not going to work.
It ain't gonna work.
It ain't going to work.
Now, I just said to her, this is exactly why I'm breaking up with you. I also told her that she really needed to reimburse me the $300 for the Switch that she accidentally, roll the footage, dropped because my little sister is heartbroken over it and has been sad about it ever since. She rolled her eyes and told me that she already said it was an accident and that it's not her problem anyways, since I don't want to be with her anymore. I don't feel like continuing to argue with her.
That's whack. You break something, or like, well, it's not my problem because we're not together. So you can just go around, you go around in a china shop, smack into all the fine china, it shatters everywhere, and the guy who owns the store is like, hey, you got to pay for this. And she's like, we're not in a relationship. I don't have to pay for it.
Extradition. Relationship extradition. I am not in a jurisdiction where you can come after me.
It's true.
Right? I'm not living in the relationship. I live outside the relationship.
Live outside the relationship, and I live outside of those rules and regulations. I'm a free agent.
What are you going to sue me?
And she will take that to court.
Right?
That's instant immunity anywhere.
Instant
Doesn't have to pay
immunity.
the china shop owner anything.
Yeah, the bonus, you can do this to anyone you're not in a relationship
Yeah,
with.
exactly.
So
She's just going around smashing switches to everyone that she's not making out with.
there's basically 8 billion people you can do this to.
And dude, one simple hack that lawmakers don't want you to know about.
Forget a rage room.
Yeah.
The world is a rage room.
Exactly. Oh, wait. This person completely destroyed your car. Did you kiss though?
Is it Facebook official?
You did. It's not Facebook official. I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do.
Supreme Court.
She goes free and clear.
Supreme
You
Court
get
doesn't
into
know.
a car accident, the police officer's like, can I see your insurance? Can I see if you're in a relationship?
Yeah.
Can I see your smooches?
Can I see your smooches?
None to show. So I don't feel like continuing to argue with her, so I told her to never contact me again, and I left. When I got home, I blocked her everywhere. I am relieved that she is out of our lives, but I'm very disappointed in myself that it took something so drastic for me to see that Megan was not a good person.
All right. Well, I think the moral of the story is you can do whatever you want to anyone.
Do
if you're
whatever
not
you want.
smooching. If you're not
Yeah.
smooching, you can break stuff. And that's just one simple hack that the government doesn't want you to know about.
Question: if
Yeah.
you find someone attractive and you want to smooch, but then you also want to destroy all their possessions, what do you do?
Destroy possessions first, smooch after.
And that's the answer.
That's the answer.
That's all we need to know.
And on a secondary note, that's way less important. I think you should heed the red flag, right? Like if someone is taking action against someone that you love consistently or in like slight ways, take that as information to maybe question, like, is this a healthy relationship?
And to not generalize, we've read a million stories where the family members are terrible and it's like they're not actually family because of how terrible they are. This is literally a child and an amazing family member at the same time. So it's like you have no right to act that way.
Yeah.
Completely
Like I can
unacceptable.
understand if you have a crazy mother-in-law that's, putting crazy gloves in your bed that you're allergic to. Like that is a story that we read recently.
Not fun.
Sophia read. That is live now everywhere on all platforms. But yeah, if that's not the case and you just have a beautiful, lovely little sister and they're not down with the sis, I say down with them.
Ooh.
I stopped prioritizing a friendship with a toxic friend. She always causes drama.
Cut out that drama, cut out that venom, cut out the toxicity.
She said, hiss. I, 26 female, have a friend, 28 female, who we will call Sylvia. I also have a main friend group consisting of my best friend, who we'll call Talia, 24 female, my male cousin, my boyfriend, and some others, which Sylvia has never been a part of. By the way, this comes from user sufficient item 5246 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my life is heavily intertwined with the friend group. We all work at the same job, same schedule, often carpool and help each other out, take trips, etc., etc. Me, Talia, and my cousin all grew up together. I met Talia when she was about 6. We lived in the same neighborhood growing up. We've had our ups and downs, as all friends do, but we ultimately love each other and are literally family. I met Sylvia in school when I was about 12 and she was 13 going on 14. We were very close, had a lot of sleepovers, and did a lot of stupid crap together. We had a falling out when I was about 17 where we physically fought, which she initiated, and I didn't talk to her for about a year. All the while, she kept reaching out, asking for forgiveness. There was a previous incident that I let go, but the physical altercation was my final straw. A little over a year later, we had a conversation and all was forgiven, but I always kept her at arm's length. I got the feeling she didn't want this and wanted us to be as close as we once were. And I still do get that feeling now, but I limited how much I spoke to her. As time went on, it would go something like this. We would periodically talk for whatever reason. One time it was because her other friend passed, who also had bullied me at one point, and she was grieving, so I comforted her. Another was because she ended up working at the job I had at the time through a temp agency for a short period of time. She would want to continue to talk often, and I would space it out until I slowly brushed her off. I admit I know it isn't the best way to handle it, but I didn't really know what I wanted, and I didn't want to hurt her feelings. But I also didn't want her to get too close again either and expect more out of a friendship than I was able to give her. And that is why clear communication is a good thing. You should have just told her. Fast forward to now. I really don't even remember how we started talking again, but lo and behold, we are friends and talked now somewhat frequently. I'd say for a little over a year now. Exactly what I knew was going to happen if I let her back in is now what's happening. We've been arguing a lot lately because she's had a problem with everything. I don't hang out with her whenever I get the chance. I give everyone else the time of day but her, etc., etc. I have explained to her on how I work almost every day and I'm tired. We also work opposite shifts, so whenever we try to meet up, one of us is always super tired, and the way my dynamic is with everyone else as to why I am always with them, sleeping over, carpooling, etc., all these answers still don't satisfy her. Honestly, all these answers don't satisfy me either, because at the end of the day, OP, you're still not just saying the truth, which is you don't want to be friends with her.
You're just like grow and grow and grow, and it's going to grow into a very big bomb.
Telling her that there's all these other things like, oh, our schedules don't line up or this or that. It's like, well, really, the root of it is you don't really care to be friends with her. Be honest, guys, honesty. Be honest with each other, please. The majority of the time, my friend group and family and I are not doing anything exciting. We literally just go home after work, eat, and maybe watch a show and go to sleep. Ain't that the truth? We have the occasional bar run or night out. That's often last minute. And she's recently picked a fight with me over text and sounded absolutely ridiculous. I told her that we don't have to be friends anymore if this is going to be a never-ending issue, and she retracted, and we've been okay since. But
Why?
I felt like it was a temporary relief. No, you haven't been okay.
It was a temporary relief because you said what you wanted to say. OP,
You don't like this person. Stop telling her that you're friends. Really quick, okay, story time, very relevant thing. I had an ex-girlfriend, right? A guy she was seeing at the time started trying to talk to me like we were going to be friends. And I had to let him know straight up, we are not going to be friends. Stop talking to me and texting me like we're going to be friends. I don't want to be friends with you. It was awkward. When I did that, it was weird.
It's weird.
For maybe like a moment in time,
Yeah.
It felt uncomfortable. And then you know what?
Move past it.
I never again had to pretend like I was buddy-buddy, and then he stopped talking to me, and everything was fine with my life, and I've moved on. So just do that. Be upfront. I feel like this conflict is just going to keep happening. On to the part in question, Talia's and Sylvia's birthdays are 1 day apart. Sylvia's being right after Talia's. For all the years that Sylvia and I were not on good terms, or were but weren't super close, I am either on a trip with Talia and the rest of the friend group for her birthday or doing something casual. It's only somewhat recently that I realized I realistically probably wouldn't ever spend any birthdays with Sylvia if she is going on a trip, because it's likely going to overlap with the days that I'd be going on a trip with Talia or just celebrating with her. There's also way more to it as to why I probably wouldn't go anyway. No, there's not. For example, last year for Sylvia's birthday, she invited me on a trip to Puerto Rico with her and a couple of her other girlfriends. I didn't trust any of her other friends because I didn't really know them and I didn't really like one in particular. Surprise, surprise, she isn't friends with anymore.
You don't like her. I don't understand this story.
OP, I think, is just seeking for validation right now. Let's keep digging. And I told her there was no chance I was going on a trip with a bunch of people I don't know. She didn't like this, but I honestly felt like she knows it's a reasonable thing to feel. She just doesn't like that that's what the circumstances are, and doesn't like that the dynamic I have with my other friends is not the same dynamic I have with her. I don't think she ended up going last year. This year, she went on a trip as her birthday just passed, and she didn't invite me because she probably knew I wasn't going to come, which I'm honestly fine with. I told her to have fun and be safe, and she made comments that it would have been nice if I'd spend her birthday with her sometimes. Though I think this is a reasonable thing for her to feel, I also feel like if we didn't go through the things that we went through, I would have been making more of an effort to rotate between them each year. But I honestly don't feel the need to do that for her.
Oh my gosh, you're exhausting me, OP. You're exhausting me, and Dakota's exhausted. We're exhausted.
You guys both suck, honestly, but also the other friend, smacked her.
Oh, yeah, no, there shouldn't be any friendship.
But that was also, they were right at the age with exiting high school, which is when you're 17 and you slap somebody. That is the tail end of acceptable times where it's all right, I can maybe move on and forgive you for that because we were literally hormonal teenagers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a toxic relationship nonetheless, and OP is just feeding into this toxic relationship by not saying the truth and not saying her honest opinion and oh yeah, I wish I were there, kinda, not really, but kinda.
Everyone watching, let this be a lesson to you. See how annoying it is when people aren't just straight up? It's annoying for OP and it's annoying for the friend. Endless annoyance cycle.
Annoyed. Dude, just tell them that you don't like them.
Let me just make it 100% clear that I do not hold any resentment or grudge against Sylvia for anything that happened in the past. Are we believing that? I have forgiven her and no longer feel any type of way about it. However, I think it's common sense that it's still going to have an effect on how close we are now. That it will never be the same as it once was.
So you just...
Do you see what you just did, OP? You're I forgive her and it doesn't affect me, but it's inevitably going to affect our relationship
But that one
forever.
thing that happened is going to affect our friendship for the rest of our lives, so...
Nor will I ever put her on a pedestal over any of my other day one friends. I have never actually said this to her, not only because it was a recent realization after some deep thought, but I don't think that she'd believe me that I don't have a grudge against her, and she probably tried to turn it around on me and make it seem like I'm fake for hiding my true feelings.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, I feel as though my feelings are valid, but there's no kind way to put it in words. I also feel like I can absolutely see how I could sound like the a-hole and a bad friend if we're just speaking about the dynamic and the way I move right now with no prior context, but I honestly feel like the history does matter and has an effect on who turned out to be a priority in my adult life. If we're being honest, I feel like she's lucky that I talked to her at all. I do love her and wish her well, but I'm sort of indifferent on the friendship and don't really care whether we talk or not. If she wants to be friends, that's fine, but she needs to play her position and not try to shove our teenage best friendship back down my throat. But how do you tell someone that without sounding insane? So am I the a-hole? And there is an edit for more context. There are two main reasons why we fell out. One, she hooked up with my on and off ex that I lost my virginity to. There was a conversation on Facebook Messenger with voice messages from my ex confirming it. She made it seem like she didn't even remember what happened, gave me her phone to show me, and listened to the convo to, I guess, make it seem like she was being an open book, and walked away. I ended up getting back with that guy and being with him for another 5 years consecutively. Awful choice, I know. Anyway, I forgave her and didn't end the friendship over it, as I was young and naive, but I never really trusted her and always got a little vibe of jealousy and spite for my relationship with him, as if it was anything to be jealous of, but you get it. By the way, I want you to get in our live streams every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap our profile. We're probably live right now.
Probably.
Go check.
OP, you are an a-hole. You are such an a-hole. You are so wishy-washy on your own mindset with this person that you're I don't want to be friends with her, but what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't understand. I'm genuinely upset. This is really stupid. Oh, She cheated with my ex, who I went back. I can't even speak.
So I'll take it.
You take it away from here. I'm really upset. I can't form words because of how upset I am. I'm so upset.
I don't know if you really aren't aware of your own stuff. Hey, here comes the cold water. You are being an a-hole in this situation by stringing your friend along and not just being like, look, I'm not really interested in a friendship because of X, Y, and Z. I don't like that you dated that guy that I dated. I don't like that we had that fight. And I don't want to pretend or,
force myself to
Yeah.
be your friend.
I'm not going to pretend.
I'm not going to force myself to have a
You could have
relationship
said
with you.
all of those things and you would have not been the a-hole.
And the thing is, OP is getting annoyed that this friend is still trying to reach out.
I also came to the realization as I got older that her not remembering or knowing what she was doing was complete BS. And another person that was there confirmed that for me as well. The second was the aforementioned physical altercation. What argument led up to it? I couldn't tell you specifically. I'm not trying to sound like an unreliable narrator or anything, but this was 9 years ago. All I know is that it was something really stupid and I ended up leaving her house and walking down the road. She was following me and trying to talk to me, but getting increasingly aggravated that I continued to walk away. That's when she grabbed me and hit me. There was still lingering tension about the situation with my ex at this time, and I feel like it had something to do with what fueled her to initiate that. Now I feel like you're being an unreliable narrator because you were like, honestly, it was something so dumb, I can't even remember what it is. 3 sentences later, you're like, it was probably something about my ex-boyfriend.
Don't be
But
mean.
that is the end of that story.
I'm leaving my husband because he had an affair with my sister. Well, I, 30 female, recently discovered that my husband, 32 male, and my sister, 28 female, have been having an affair. I found explicit messages and photos on my husband's phone, and I was devastated to learn that the affair has been going on for over a year. By the way, this comes from Alternative Fly 312 on the Best of Better Updates subreddit. So betrayal is even more painful because my sister and I are incredibly close. We shared everything from personal secrets to major life decisions. To husbands? Oh God, that played too well. Nice one, Sophia. My husband has been expressing dissatisfaction and feeling distant, but I never imagined it would lead to this. When I confronted my husband, he admitted to the affair. He claimed that he felt neglected, and throughout the affair, it was an escape from his dissatisfaction.
You know what will help you with satisfaction? Talking to your partners.
Ask. Even
Divorce.
Even leave just so you're at least not, because if you cheat, it's like the pain
You
of
suck.
cheating and the pain of the divorce.
Yeah.
At least let it just be the pain of the
Just
divorce.
choose one.
Just choose one.
This isn't like a 2-for-1 deal here.
And you can be fully honest if you do go the divorce route.
Exactly.
And not have to lie to someone. My God. He tried explaining it away by saying that he didn't know how to communicate his needs and it was just a momentary lapse in judgment.
That's not how those work.
No.
A momentary lapse of judgment is when you're like, I know this ice cream's really going to hurt my stomach, but I love it so much, so you eat it.
It's too delicious. Cheating isn't ice cream.
No.
New t-shirt. His excuses sound hollow and insincere. How can I believe that this was just a lapse in judgment when he actively chose to betray me over such a long period?
It wasn't.
Dude,
You can't.
it's too much. My sister has also apologized, claiming that the affair was never serious and happened only 2 or 3 times, describing it as just for fun. It's just a little.
If you want to have fun, go to the freaking climbing gym.
Yeah, and get some bruises all over your body.
All over your body. It's
Like an
so much
old
more
banana.
fun than cheating.
First-hand account right here.
Guys, I'm obsessed. Not with cheating, with climbing.
Yeah, to be clear. Honestly, this makes me even angrier. 3 times only? Come on, who believes that? If it had been just once, I could have still forgiven them. The fact that she's trying to downplay it as a fun fling only adds insult
Yeah,
to
that's
injury.
so much worse. It's like, no, I didn't even care about it. It was just like fun.
It's not.
I just ruined your life for fun.
Yeah, and it dismisses the seriousness of it for
Yeah.
OP and like OP's feelings. How could she think it was acceptable to get involved with my husband? And how could they both trivialize such a serious betrayal? She moved out of town to give me space, but I'm struggling to even imagine having a relationship with her again. Right now, I really want nothing to do with the both of them. I will definitely be leaving my husband because he doesn't deserve my trust or commitment anymore.
Yes.
Go off, queen. I also won't be seeing my sister for a long time,
Fair.
if ever.
Fair.
Totally fair. You can go no contact.
again, she ruined your life for a fling.
Sister stealing your husband is insanity. Like,
crazy.
it doesn't
Like,
get
why
much
are
worse
you
than
even
that.
attracted to that person?
What are we doing? Well, I guess they do share a lot in common. They're siblings after all.
Guess
Several red flags were apparent before I discovered the affair. My husband was unusually secretive with his phone, had a drastic change in work hours, seemed increasingly distant and emotionally unavailable. I should have noticed these signs earlier, but I was blindsided by how quickly things escalated. So, am I the a-hole for wanting to leave my husband? I definitely will be leaving him now, and I'm also considering cutting off my sister for the foreseeable future. Should I even consider forgiving her, or is there no coming back from the betrayal? There is some relevant comments and an update where OP makes a big decision after some soul searching.
What type of big decision?
But Sophia, let's run through the roster here.
Let's
Number
run through
one is OP the a-hole for wanting to leave her husband.
No.
Not even in the slightest. Right?
Count one. Not guilty.
Cleared of all charges. Number two, is it okay for her to cut off contact at least for the foreseeable future with her
Count
sister?
two. Not guilty.
Not guilty. Count number three, should I consider forgiving her, or is there no coming back from this betrayal?
Count three. Indecisive.
Indecisive. Why?
Because I think that years down the line, she could, make a big old comeback and prove her devotion to her sister. Right now, we don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, I feel like it's like, again, one, this all hinges on if OP is okay with that and wants that.
Exactly.
But then two, I think it would literally just take years of rebuilding the trust and proving that you're trustworthy for OP to even begin to think about feeling comfortable in trusting her. Agreed. Again. Because again, just like, I'm just trying to think of things that could top that, and I'm just coming up short.
Nothing.
I got nothing except for these relevant comments.
Woo!
So, commenter number one says, not the a-hole. Why even consider forgiving your sister? She betrayed you in the worst way possible, and her excuses are crap.
Yeah, she does have pretty bad excuses.
Right. Commenter number two says, you're definitely not in the wrong for wanting to leave him. Betrayal like this is massive, and your feelings are completely valid. Taking time for yourself and reevaluating your relationship with your sister is smart. Agreed. And then commenter number three, not the a-hole for wanting to leave your husband and distance yourself from your sister. They both betrayed your trust in a massive way. If anything, you're the sane one here, not putting up with pathetic excuses and minimizing of their actions. Prioritize your own healing. You owe them nothing.
Exactly.
I love that.
And that's the truth.
Yeah, like right now they weren't thinking about you when, they got together multiple times, maybe many times, and
you don't have to feel it. Yeah, you don't have to hurt. Feel for their feelings.
Yeah, you're already entitled to prioritize yourself first. Now you have like a million X self-prioritizing yourself first.
Exactly.
Yep. But let's get into the update. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for the overwhelming support and advice on my original post. I've been having a really tough time, and your words helped me feel less alone in this situation. After a lot of soul searching and discussion with trusted friends, I've made some decisions about how to move forward. I have officially left my husband.
Good.
It's done. The pain of his betrayal is still fresh, but I know that staying with someone who could do this to me is not an option. I deserve better, and I'm determined to find a healthier, happier path for myself. As for my sister, she reached out to me after moving out of town. She expressed regret and claimed that she never meant to hurt me. I'm still processing my feelings, and while I do appreciate her reaching out, I told her I need time and space to heal.
Yeah, I mean, she's only regretful because you caught her.
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like.
Which is, that's going to take a lot of time, even if she is genuinely, regretful and apologetic. That doesn't mean that you need to forgive her right now.
And I, in all honesty, kind of believe she's just saying that so she doesn't have to deal with OP, hating her or cutting her off or whatever the case might be. I've decided to take a break from our relationship for the foreseeable future with her sister. I just can't wrap my head around how she could betray me in such a profound way, and I'm not ready to forgive or engage in any kind of conversation just yet. In the aftermath of the situation, I've also been focusing on my mental health. I've started therapy to help work through my feelings of betrayal, anger, and loss. I realize that I need to take care of myself, rebuild my life, even if it feels daunting right now. I've learned to trust my instincts more and recognize red flags. I will not ignore my gut feelings in future relationships, whether they're romantic or familial. I know I have a long road ahead, but I'm determined to come out stronger. And we're going to close with these quick relevant comments. Number 1, never ever trust your sister around any other man you meet. Nope. She'd be no contact if she were my sister. Screw them both. She didn't mean to hurt you. She did. Blatantly, she did.
Yeah.
She's lying to save her own skin. She's moved so the drama won't follow her. I would out her and your ex.
Agreed.
Commenter number 2 says she didn't mean to hurt you. What exactly did she think you would feel like after she slept with your husband multiple times?
Joy.
Yeah. Whoopee!
Like, oh, you're seeing how, I love him and you love him.
And we all love each other. It's so
Perfect.
great. Hooray! No. Wrong. I'm glad you're moving on and prioritizing yourself. You're right. You deserve better. You deserve better. And final comment number 3,
Yeah.
leaving your husband was the right decision, and you should be proud of yourself for recognizing that you deserve better.
Exactly. This isn't kindergarten. Sharing is not caring.
Exactly. And you don't need a kindergarten degree to join our live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. So hop on in.
Tap a profile.
But yeah, I think just cut her out.
Cut her off. Snip, snip, snip.
I would not be surprised or mad if basically her whole life they didn't have regular contact. I'm also, this is a assumption that I'm making, but I just do not feel that the sister is actually remorseful and she's just lying just to get back in the sister's good graces.
I think it's too soon after for her to
Way too
actually
soon
be apologetic. And also you have to see, are they gonna get together after this? The husband and the sister. Like, are they gonna continue this now that it's in the open? What's the relationship there now?
Final question for you.
Yes.
If her and the husband, ex-husband now do get together, is that a automatic permanent no contact? I think so.
I think that is an automatic permanent no contact.
Because like they've already done so much, them getting
Nail in
together
the coffin.
is like, okay, so you really just don't care and
you
want to see
care
me
more
suffer.
about him than you do about our relationship.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And like there could have been a world where maybe they divorce, like if they had divorced the proper way, obviously it would have been crazy.
Pretty awful, but still, it's at least not stealing.
You could have been
husband.
truthful the whole way and just like,
Yes.
talked about it with the sister. Again, still almost always like terrible, especially if it's like super recent, but I digress.
Yeah.
But you want to know some other recent news?
What?
This episode's over.
What?
I know.
Oh,
I ran out.
man.
Sorry, guys. Don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you. Watch out for your sisters.
Watch out for your sisters. But what I do know what to tell you is if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you. And see
see
you
you tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Boom.
Woo! Nailed it.